think they should, it will probably be a situation where they weren't good enough defensively to edge out a win when they went something like 3 of 24 from 3. I'm making up numbers, but you get the point.
Yes. Gary Parrish is with us at Gary Parrish CBS on social media. You see him on CBS Sports throughout the college basketball season in the studio there. You can also read him at CBS Sports, and he's up there with our buddy Verno at Grind City Media in Memphis. A rare in-studio for Gary. He's in New York all the time this time of year. So to me, like if Bama beats Texas tonight and Auburn wins in Nashville, the bigger thing to me, obviously 1 versus 2, game day being there, all that's great, and we love the publicity here. The winner of that game's in sole possession of the SEC lead, which is not insignificant, Gary, because it's hard to imagine the regular season SEC champion not being the overall number 1 for me. Is that the way you are right now?
That's certainly where we're headed. I don't even think it's a debate right now that Auburn would be the number 1 overall seed. And I think if it's not Auburn ultimately, it will be whoever supplants Auburn at the top of the SEC. I'll keep it simple. If Auburn wins the SEC, Auburn's going to be your number 1 overall seed and should be. And if it's not Auburn, it will probably be another SEC team, Alabama, perhaps Tennessee. I think the top 3 and 4 of the top 5 in my top 25 and 1 daily rankings are SEC schools. The league is obviously deep, but the strength at the top, like they could get 3 number 1 seeds and have, we could be watching first Monday night in April. It's an SEC team against an SEC team for the national championship. All of this stuff's on the table.
If the award was given out today, Cooper Flagg probably your national player of the year. But do you believe Johni Broome can still do enough to become the national player of the year?
Yes, and I would not have answered that question that way a month ago, or whenever Johni went out, because on literally the same day he went out, Cooper Flagg went for like 40 something. And it felt like, okay, here we go. And Cooper's been awesome. And I thought, A, Johni would miss more time than he missed, and B, that Cooper Flagg would just run away with it. And neither one of those things are happening. Johni came back after only 2 games, and he's put up big numbers consistently. So I think the main thing working against Johni, and I know this isn't what Auburn fans want to hear, but like the people who vote on these awards, they're humans. And I can see them getting caught up in having the power. If all things are close to equal, having the power and wanting to take advantage of it to make Cooper Flagg the youngest Wooden Award winner in history, because that's what he would be. And I think your average voter probably leans a little that direction. Like you can make history with your Wooden Award vote, or you can just give it to another awesome college basketball player. I really do think that kind of stuff will factor into it. So Johni Broome's going to have to, for him to win the award.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
There's no off-season at CoverCrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at CoverCrimson.com.
Take the Next Round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
First off, hats off to Auburn and Alabama. Nobody let the oil leak out of the car last night. Both of them survived to set the table for the showdown coming up this weekend. What is it? 22-2 versus 21-3. Number 1 versus number 2. Game day in town. We'll actually talk to the voice, the face of college game day, Rece Davis, coming up here in the first segment, in the first few moments. I'll go this first. If you're an Alabama fan and you hit your knees last night, say your prayers before you went to bed, you say, man, give me one more game shooting like that on Saturday.
I was going to say, man, so back-to-back things I think have gone against Alabama. I mean, look, you want Alabama to look like they looked last night. You didn't want Auburn to lose on Saturday. And then you didn't want to shoot lights out. I mean, that was complete. 61% from the field, 17 of 29 behind the arc, 58% from three.
This is good offensive performance I've seen in a long time from anybody.
Yeah, and look, you're up 25, but you turned it over 17 times.
I mean, think about that for a second, though. They scored,
103.
103. One going away and turned it over 17
times.
That's incredible.
Again, we talked about it a couple of days ago. I don't think the turnovers are going to go away. This is a very efficient offensive team when things are clicking. It is really, really difficult to envision Alabama losing games when they're hitting shots like that. But what are the chances that Auburn loses twice in a week, and what are the chances Alabama can back up that performance offensively?
That's what we'll find out Saturday.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Oats seems confident based on the comments post-game.
Yeah, he sasays we'll find out who's number one on Saturday. He's a confident guy.
I thought that was an interesting comment, though, didn't you?
It was. I mean, you can't say who's number one. We'll find out Saturday. The two best teams in the country are going to play each other Saturday. They'll play each other again at the end of the year. Then maybe they'll play each other in Nashville. I got a feeling they won't play each other in Nashville.
It'd probably have to be in the finals because it's probably going to be 1 seed, 2 seed either way in Nashville.
But the field of 68 guys who I watch almost every night, if I don't watch them, I read their newsletter every day. To what you were just talking about, LT, and then Brownie said he can't remember an offensive performance like that. They call it a 60, 55, 90 game. That over 60% from the field, over 55 from three, over 90% from the free throw line. And they said, I can't remember a game in the last 15 years that a team went 60, 55, a 60, 55, 90 game.
You know, maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe Gonzaga a couple of years ago when they played against Baylor for the national championship in one of the West Coast games.
Yeah.
I could see they were 100 points every other night. So, you know, maybe. I will guarantee you've never seen it in the history of Alabama basketball.
I would agree with that. I'd like to know how often you've seen it on the road, too. This Alabama team's so wild. They play better on the road. We talked with Oats about it last time he was on the show. The day he was sitting in a hotel in Starkville, and they did it. I mean, I thought they played above their normal game in Starkville, and they did it again at Arkansas, and they did it again last night. Of course, last night was next level, though, from what they've been doing on the road.
But I'll tell you another thing that would excite me if I'm an Alabama fan is guys like Grant Nelson and Youngblood. You know, they were just pedestrian last night.
Yeah. What was really exciting was finally seeing the real Jaron Stevenson.
Well, there has been some Jaron Stevenson slander among the members of the chat, the MyBookie.ag chat room.
Shout out Zach.
There's been some Jaron Stevenson slander.
Did you have Stevenson as the leading scorer last night for Alabama?
You know, I would not have predicted that, no.
Yeah. He only missed 1 3. He was 7 of 8, 4 or 5.
4 or 5 from beyond the arc. I mean, if he plays like that, I really don't know how you defend them. With their guards, with Amore on the inside, with Stevenson on the wing, with that kind of size.
And then with Holloway and Philon, what you get off the bench.
I know. That becomes really, really difficult to defend.
If he keeps playing, if he plays like that consistently, you won't have to worry about seeing him next year in Tuscaloosa. Because remember, he almost stayed in the NBA draft this past year. He came back last minute, and he hasn't had the offensive year. He had 19 to get Alabama past Clemson in the Elite Eight and help him get to the first Final Four. And that's his first game this year that he shot like that, 22 points.
And I really believe this. Again, we don't really know about the 60, 50, 90. And I don't know this to be a fact, but Mo Diabate, I mean, for what his production is with his minutes, like I don't know anybody that's as productive as he is with limited minutes.
Yeah, like, you know, if he plays 14 minutes, his plus minus is always over 14 minutes.
I mean, his points are almost equal to his minutes every night. So 16 minutes off the bench last night, 13 points, 4 of 4 from the field. Like 2 of 2 from the line. You can't get more efficient than that. Now, he did turn the basketball over 3 times, but man, I mean, just pure offensive production and how he grinds out, man. I mean, that is a piece, the glue piece that you need to take it to the next level.
Speaking of grinding it out, Grant Nelson, who offensively didn't have his best night, was the hard hat winner, so all the metrics won him there. Youngblood is good, great performance, and all that we didn't even mention what Aiden Holloway has brought to this team. When Mark Sears, I mean, he had 18 last night. He's so good at getting people to foul. And he gets in the air. He had 3 turnovers. Felt like more, but he had 3 turnovers last night. But when Holloway's on the point, it seems like they're running a different gear.
Yeah.
When Holloway's on the court, it's like they are running a foot race. At that point.
I still think Sears is, obviously, one of your players of the year last year is a more obvious, important part. But for what Holloway brings off the bench, and you look forward to next year, Holloway coming back, I think he's probably an all-SEC preseason guard, wouldn't you think?
I would, yeah.
In the starting lineup.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
He's shooting over 50% from 3 in SEC play.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could pull that up, Jim, real quick. 3-point field goal percentages. There is one guy, Bryce Gooding of Oklahoma, that is actually ahead of him. He's shooting 52%.
Yep.
I was going to see the next closest, and it's Jackson Robinson behind Holloway at 47.4%. But 26 of 52 in conference play from beyond the arc is just – every time he lets it go, I think it's going in. He's just one of those – the shots never look bad coming out of Holloway's hand.
I think
from
there
beyond
is
the arc.
something last year. The offense, it never seemed to really fit Holloway, but at the same time, he didn't have his confidence. It was much like Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady bringing up the lack of footwork and how he didn't have any confidence in his offensive line on Sunday. Holloway just didn't have confidence in his shot last year, and he's got that confidence now. And, apparently he had it in practice last year because you heard all the coaches talking about it at Auburn, like this guy doesn't miss in practice.
103-83, Alabama wins it. At time in the second half, it felt like an NBA All-Star game. It's just like dribble down, shoot a 3, other team dribble down, shoot a 3.
Their pace last night, I don't know what Nate Oates' analytics are on pace. I'd like to know. Theirs last night was as fast as I can remember seeing them play. Ball off the rim. Jimmy Dykes made the point that Holloway got fouled on the other end of the court with 4 seconds off the shot clock.
That was a great outlet from Cliff from Warrior on that play.
See, this is the kind of basketball I like, though.
Yeah.
51 threes attempted, more threes attempted than free throws.
It is so much fun to watch
it
when
is.
it's clicking.
Yeah.
Number 1 Auburn handles Vandy. They got out to a 15-0 lead. You're like, okay, this team has come out with a mat on. And then Vandy fought back and took a 47-45 lead. And when it was all said and done, Auburn had a big night from Denver Jones early. He was 4 of 6 from 3 in the first half, had 14 in the first half. He ended up leading scores with 21. But Chaney Johnson was big last night, 20 points. He seems to be a guy who is emerging as a rising star and possibly the X factor for this team in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, look, Chaney's been great. Obviously filled in when Broome was out for that small amount of time. But just coming off the bench, him and Pettiford, what they bring off the bench, and that's back to Alabama, going back and forth as we get ready for this matchup on Saturday. Both of these teams have multiple big-time contributors off the bench.
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot.
Yeah, Chris Button, who I like, was on Sirius XM on the way in, and they asked her on Dusty and Danny. They asked her, hey, so Auburn, Alabama, you got a lean? She goes, I'm going to go Auburn. They're just so deep. And I was like, well, that is a true statement.
It is, but compared to Alabama.
But Alabama's deep, too. I wouldn't decide the game coming up this weekend on who's deep.
But when you've got guys like Chad Baker, who has struggled a little bit coming off the bench now, Pettiford has been so good offensively off the bench, and then what you get with Chaney Johnson off the bench.
They are deep. It was not an incorrect statement.
No, you're just saying that both are.
That both are very deep teams, and they're the best 2 teams in the country, and they play 3 o'clock coming up this weekend. We'll talk to Rece Davis in just a second.
And you wondered, and we talked about the Auburn influence. What did you call them? Auburn North, Auburn Nashville?
Auburn North,
whatever.
the fans.
Yeah, look, at 15-0, very vocal, and you could tell, damn, there's a lot of Auburn people there.
Oh, yeah. So like home game.
Yeah,
but a lot of teams do that in Nashville. Nashville's a melting pot.
But it seems more football they do it.
Yeah, they do it in basketball too. Now, you don't watch,
It's just hard for a one-off night. Like football weekend, if you're an LSU fan, go in on Thursday or Friday night, spend the entire weekend in Nashville.
But Nashville's such an SEC melting pot town.
Here's what you need to know about Game Day, this historic matchup coming up this weekend, and we're so excited to have College Game Day back in our state for the second time this year. They were down at Auburn earlier. Doors open for students at 7:30. 7:30 in the morning, doors open for students. The general public can go. You don't have to be enrolled in school to go. You can get in. The door opens at 8 o'clock for the general public to get in there. 9 to 11 game day is on. The game's on ESPN as well at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's never been anything like it in basketball in our state.
That is true. Rece Davis, who has seen a lot of basketball in our state, I'm sure would agree. Hello, Rece Davis. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. As a guy that grew up in this state, went to school in this state, I got to imagine seeing Alabama and Auburn play the first 1-2 SEC game ever feels kind of strange to you.
It's, it's spectacular and a testament to what both programs have done and the emphasis that they've put on making sure that they have elite basketball programs. And, the rivalry has been great for people in the state and fans of both schools and maybe even around the SEC to some degree for a number of years, dating back to Barkley and Person and, Buck and Enimo and, McDyess and Sprewell and Ori and all of those guys that they've had. But now this rivalry has evolved and taken a step up because, we've had kick six and the Gravedigger, but we've never had 1 versus 2 in football. And now we've got it in basketball. And, they're going to meet at least one more time after this. And both teams are certainly capable of going to the Final Four and maybe winning a national championship, though certainly the tournament's a bit of a crapshoot. But what's going to happen Saturday is, for the first time, the first 1 versus 2 meeting between these two is going to be special. And we're looking forward. We're hoping it's a raucous environment. The students and the fans gave us a great show the last time we were in Alabama last year. First time we'd ever been there for basketball. And we're hoping they make it even bigger and better this year. And I appreciate you guys letting people know when they can get in. And Jay will be out shooting. You can probably, win a few C notes from him if you can hit some shots. He's pretty good at that kind of stuff. So we're looking forward to getting there. It's going to be fun.
Reese, Coleman Coliseum has been kind of a punching bag for Alabama fans for decades now. And, we hear that good tickets this weekend, $1,000 just to get in to watch a regular season basketball game. Just go back to your years as an undergrad in Tuscaloosa. And I would assume that was the Wimp Sanderson era. What were games like going as a student?
It was, look, we had a core of us that went to virtually every game and went to a lot of road games. They were really good when I was in school there. That was Derek McKee and Farmer Gottfried, Terry Connor, Michael Ansley, Buck Johnson, not with the championship team, but before that. So, they had really, really good teams. Won the SEC when I was in school there. Went to the tournament the first 3 years that I was in school there. So it was it was sort of the heyday of Alabama basketball, in my judgment, prior to this current one. So it's there were dedicated fans, but I think there's more of a widespread appeal. Going to Final Fours and winning SEC championships will do that, and that's something that Nate's done very well there.
We got a kick six highlight in the basketball game last night, previewing the showdown coming up this weekend. A lot of Alabama fans reacted, "Where's the Gravedigger?" You got to book in those together. Just answer this question, because Dusty and Danny on Sirius XM asked me this morning. We don't call it the Iron Bowl of basketball, though, right? Do we call it that?
I never have. No.
Yeah.
I've never referred to it that way.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Not in common vernacular. Look, if it somehow pops out of my mouth on Saturday, they'll say, "See, you didn't tell the truth." But just like in the normal context of conversation about Alabama Auburn basketball, I haven't referred to it that way necessarily.
We used to get a big sellout because we used to give the ODK trophy out to the winning team at the halftime of this game in different places. You remember that, right? That's gone now. We don't even do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore?
I don't think so. I don't think we do it anymore.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, it's basketball's so popular now, they don't even have to do that anymore.
Yeah. I see what you. Yeah. Even if they did it, no one would care.
Yeah. You're right.
I wouldn't say no one would care, but it certainly would be an also receiving votes situation.
Exactly.
For Saturday.
It used to be the reason people went to that game.
Right. Yeah. To go see it and to gloat a little bit. That's a very fair point. But these two teams stand on their own. If you go back and I hope I was just looking at something this morning. The last 8, I think I'm right on this, and if I'm not, I'm sure someone will correct me. The last 8 basketball championship trophies, regular season or tournament, that the SEC has handed out, Auburn or Alabama have won 6 of them. And of the last 5 NCAA tournaments, counting, the one year there was no tournament, one of the teams has been in the Final Four during that span. So I think it's really elevated it to the point where it stands on its own. And, both teams play an entertaining brand of basketball to watch, which I think is also important. When you have so much competition for eyeballs out there, you want to be fun to watch. And I think it's probably fair to say that, in many years prior to Nate's arrival, Alabama wasn't really fun to watch. It was certainly true of Auburn, prior to Bruce's arrival. And, it was funny, we were watching the Auburn game last night, and when they mentioned that Bruce had been there 11 years, like, wait, what? Hasn't Bruce just been there he's been there 4.5 years or something, it seems like. And Oats is there now. Well, I think he's in his 6th season, which is kind of mind-boggling as quickly as it's happened. But both guys have done a great job, and they've, Kentucky will always be the gold standard of SEC basketball, and they've got an excellent team this year, historically and traditionally. But at the moment, while I think Florida's as good as anybody, at the moment, the standard bearers are Alabama and Auburn because they're collecting all the trophies.
ESPN's Rece Davis with us. You'll see him from Coleman Coliseum on ESPN's Game Day coming up Saturday as Alabama and Auburn battle 1 versus 2, number 1 Auburn, number 2 Alabama on ESPN. Rece is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. The other storyline on this, Rece, after both teams won last night, is that the winner of this game with 6 games remaining in conference play will be the outright leader. And I would ask you, from your talks with Lenardi and people like that, do you feel as though the SEC regular season champion not only is a lock 1, but maybe the lock overall 1?
It sort of depends on how it goes. And when I say that, I mean, you look at the Alabama's remaining schedule, not that Auburn's is a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination, not in this league, which is as good and as deep as any league in the history of the sport right now. But Alabama's remaining schedule is just a landmine to get through. Now, a few losses, should they suffer them, probably won't knock them off that one line unless it, be multiple losses. But I think it's certainly the winner of this game, winner of the regular season in the SEC, whoever that might be, would certainly have a great opportunity to be the number 1 overall seed. If you look at there's one of the analytics guys in basketball that did a thing recently about advocating for a change from the current net system to a system he had devised called quality wins and quality losses. And then where you land on a graph, higher up the ranks you are if you have quality wins and quality losses, as opposed to just compiling a good record. Auburn is like off the chart. They're like standing up there way above everybody else. And there's a little bit of a drop off. And then Alabama, and they're above everybody else. So those two, and Duke's close to Alabama, in that regard. But the resumes that these two have put together, however you want to put it, I think is really going to serve them well when the selection committee comes out with the seedings. And I would expect at least 2 SEC teams to get number 1 seeds, and I think there's a great chance for 3. And I would suspect that third one might end up being Florida, because Florida, even though they continue to have people get banged up, and it happened to them again last night, but they appear, not just because they beat Auburn, they just appear to be doing this if people are watching. I'm moving my hand upward as if on a graph. And they are really good. They're really big. And so I think the SEC has 3 teams, in my judgment, that can win the national championship.
I know you got to wait to see the matchups and what the draw looks like, but do you lean right now? Because it sounds like you believe, which a lot of people do, Alabama, Auburn, the best 2 teams in college basketball. Do you think, because I don't know if I've ever seen this before, with credible people filling out brackets, that you will have both Alabama and Auburn going to San Antonio and playing in the Final Four?
Matchups would be there, but if I were filling out a bracket now, I'd probably say yes. And look, I want to, and I'm not trying to rain on any parade. I want to build this up. We're bringing game day there, but Duke is really good, also, and Florida's really good. Houston's good too. I don't think Houston's as good offensively as those other teams, but I certainly think that the SEC could have 2 or 3 teams in the Final Four. But we should point this out, and I want to get ahead of this because you look historically, even at conferences who have been the best by any measure over the course of a season, historically good conferences, there are times when those conferences have a little bit of a middling record in the NCAA tournament. What are the reasons for that? I mean, I think everybody knows it's human nature. It's like we're supposed to win this game. How in the world are we only up by 2 against a 13 seed or against a 15, 16 seed? 16 is more rare. And you start feeling game pressure and you get tight and we're supposed to win the game, and then bad things happen to you. And I think even down the line with the SEC teams, there could be a little bit of maybe not overlook, but a feeling that you're supposed to win the game, and sometimes that impedes performance. So the fact that the SEC is historically good is not going to be validated or invalidated by tournament performance. But if they all perform to their capabilities, I don't think it's crazy at all to say that they could have 2 or 3 teams in the Final Four, and certainly that includes Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah, you never know, because I'm sure Dan Hurley pointed his finger and said 2 rings, like he did last night when it gets to be bracket time. Hey, Aiden Holloway is going to be a story. I can't wait to see how he handles it. Because he's got to be in the right headspace, how the Auburn players handle it. He's playing fantastic basketball right now. What do you make of what Holloway has brought with him to Tuscaloosa?
Well, I mean, the style of play suits him, and he would have been successful had he chosen to stay at Auburn because he's a really good player. But I do think that this style of play is better for Aiden, and just as an individual player. But what you said is right. What he's brought to them is creativity on the drive and excellent perimeter shooting. He's shooting like 50% or something in conference play from behind the arc. He's a tremendous shooter. Gives him another guy to space the floor. He's been a good steadying guy as I think LeBaron Fowler, that guy's just a menace. But when he's had some freshman lulls, I thought Holloway has done a really good job along with Youngblood and kind of steadying the ship. And when they're all clicking as they were last night, they're really, really difficult to guard. But I think Holloway's been sensational. It'll be difficult for him, I think, to stay in that right headspace, but probably more difficult on that last Saturday of the regular season when the jungle's really going to give it to him, I'm sure. So I'm sure he'll anticipate that and be ready for it. But just from an internal emotional standpoint, it'll be important for him to be on a good, steady, even keel on Saturday, because they need him to produce offensively and to provide them with a consistent perimeter shooting.
Not only is it the SEC's first ever 1-2 matchup, it will be game day's first 1-2 matchup since the Tennessee-Memphis game we talked about the other day.
Wow.
So even Rece in the game doesn't get this very often.
Was that 15 years ago?
2008.
Yeah, I thought we had another one, and I was mistaken about that. I thought it was our first one since Indiana-Michigan in 13, but I guess as it turns out, I think Michigan was 1. I think Indiana was 3. But in my mind, that was 1 versus 2, but it's not. You're right. It's the Tennessee-Memphis game, which was also Bruce Pearl.
That's right.
Involved in that. So whenever game day gets 1 versus 2, Bruce is there. So we're looking forward to seeing him on Saturday.
Yeah, 9:00 Central Time on ESPN. See Rece and the crew there from Coleman. Thank you very much for the time, Rece. Always great catching up with you.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, buddy, take care. Rece with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And remember, 7:30 doors for students, 8 o'clock for fans. It's free to get in, no charge. And go over there and watch the experience, be a part of it. It's great for the gram.
Not the game.
The game is not free.
Game not free. No,
The game is not free.
No.
Maybe you can find a hiding space and hang in there kill a few hours and hang in there for the game.
Well, I tell you what, if it were free, I wonder how big a venue you would need. I mean, I've never seen excitement like this for.
If the game was free.
If the game was free, yeah.
Normally, I get a random offer to go to a game like this.
Nobody's reached out.
Oh no.
Yeah. If somebody reached out, would you go?
I don't know.
With a quality seat.
That was key.
And you're not driving. You don't have to drive.
And you can leave at halftime.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see it. It's going to be.
Yeah, look, I mean, that would be the one
there.
thing is to be there. I mean, it's going to be electric. What do you think the breakdown will be? I know we got into this last week about selling tickets. Do you think it's 75-25?
Nah, I don't think it'll be that big.
I don't know if it'll get to be 25, but it'll be a I'll tell you what Auburn did, and really probably it was only maybe 100 Florida fans in one section. I mean, you have.
I noticed that. That's pretty rare, though.
Yeah, you get visiting tickets. I mean,
but they're generally right behind the bench. That's for friends and family close to the program.
I don't know if it's behind the bench. They were across from me. I'm at the end zone where the players come out. So across from me in the upper tier, level 3 at Auburn Arena, Neville Arena, and it was one section, and it looked to be friends and family, and they were going crazy during timeouts when it was obvious Florida was going to win the game. And Auburn's ops people started playing this beat. It was basically just a electronic beat,
right,
that drowned them out to where you couldn't hear, "It's great to be a Florida Gator." And once they heard that, they would hit this electronic beat that basically was just a rhythm beat.
Was it like the DJ at the Moody Center last night? That guy is non-stop.
They tried to do that like the NBA at the Moody Center. More on that in a second.
Okay.
And they were all they were doing was covering up the Florida fans. And if it's going the wrong way for Alabama, I would recommend to have a hidden beat ready to play just in case, because there'll be enough Auburn fans there to make some noise. Yeah, to where you'll know they're there if it starts going the wrong way for Alabama. But usually, if you're still in the game, if the opposing team starts cheering, the other team cheers louder, and you're able to drown them out. That was not the case at Neville this past week, so they used a nice electronic beat there. A viewer of the show, Slim Robinson, was in the Moody Center last night.
Did he bless the mood?
And I thought this would be the case as well. I just wonder if it's the case because, one, I was watching on television, and two, they were getting their ass kicked. But he said the Moody Center is a great event center, but not ideal for college basketball. Sanitized atmosphere from the start, almost like a neutral site game. Was proud to see lots of crimson sprinkled throughout there in Austin last night.
That's weird because Jimmy Dykes and Carl Ravitch made it sound as if late in that game, Alabama was basically touring the facility,
taking pictures
to try to replicate it for themselves. Yeah. Which, by the way, was one of the many proposals that have been tossed out there. Is the city of Tuscaloosa building a arena like the Moody Center that Scott is showing you there, near enough the Alabama campus that it's essentially on campus, but it wouldn't be on campus. That could host concerts and conferences and things like that, and also give Alabama the dates. Now, Greg Byrne was on our show when we brought that up to him, and he did not seem enamored with that idea just because of how limited your dates are.
That's right. For those that don't know, Texas does not own the Moody Center. The city of Austin does, or a private company owns the Moody Center.
And I think it's right on the edge of campus.
I actually think Cooper Manning's business owns the Moody Center.
Well, what was the number of events that UT got to? It seemed really out of whack.
64 dates is what.
Is that what it was?
Texas. I remember doing the
that's
story.
Out of whack.
Yeah.
64 dates is all they get.
Yeah, you better make those count.
Is there any kind of rev share?
I don't know, like concessions and parking. Yeah. I don't know. See, that's why you wouldn't want to give it up.
Yeah.
But if it gets you into a new arena,
but if you put it more on your campus, then maybe you can keep. Well,
but you can't build the private on the state property. Is where you run into the issue there. You got to build.
What about Bryce back there? Who owns? Well,
that? I think that's what they were looking at.
Close enough, right?
I thought the university bought that property, the University of Alabama.
They did.
I think they had found a site that was close enough to campus that it's essentially on campus. We brought this up with Williams-Brice Stadium the other day. Technically, South Carolina doesn't own that stadium. It's on the fairgrounds, but it's right on the edge of campus.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something you could do. But, I mean, the way people are talking about you, the one place you would not want to copy is the Mood.
Yeah, well, it's 10,100, I think they said, about 1,000 more than Auburn, than Neville seats.
But they're further from the floor, it looks like.
Yeah, it is not the same atmosphere. It is not the same atmosphere. I don't like the arena. I don't like I need to see them in person on television. The projection screens, and Little T and I talked about this when Auburn played there. The projection screens on the ceiling all the way around. It goes halo all the way around up there. Very big projections.
Well, one thing it does have is a good lighting. You don't get it over.
It's bright, yeah.
But those projection screens, they don't seem to be as crisp. They remind me of the mega church screens where you're reading the lyrics of the songs.
That's right.
It's just not a good look. But if you're in Tuscaloosa and you're taking those pictures, maybe you're thinking, man, if we covered, you have a lot of the hangar-like roof up there. If we cover those with some of the wraparound screens like that, you could change the atmosphere a little bit. I don't know what they were doing other than kicking Texas's butt last night. Rece Davis, wherever you get our podcast, if you happen to miss him, game day coming this weekend. 7:30, Dores for students, 8 for fans, and it is free to get in to watch game day 9 to 11 on ESPN. The game is at 3 o'clock. Before you tell us about Woodhouse, everybody wants to know early lean on a betting line in your head would be what?
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you what our audience said last night after you give the guess.
I think it will be Alabama 1.5.
See, that is so strange because all along everybody's been saying Auburn's probably going to be favored, and I wondered that based on current state of play. You know, Auburn, not that they're playing bad by any stretch of the imagination, but they lost a game. They were good last night, but that was not their best performance last night. Meanwhile, I mean, Alabama's coming off maybe their best performance of the entire season.
Yeah, I think if this game is Neville, it's Auburn 3.5. I think in Coleman, it's Alabama 1.5.
Landmine Believer led the charge last night, and the consensus in the chat was 1.5.
Alabama 1.5?
Alabama 1.5. That's what everybody seemed to be in the Alabama postgame last night. We did not get into that discussion in the Auburn postgame because much like Stephen Pearl on our show yesterday, I was not ready to talk about the Auburn-Alabama game yet until Alabama
You
played
could have done it
Texas.
at halftime. I think it was over at halftime.
Could have done it at halftime.
Yep.
Woodhouse Day Spa on Valentine's Week.
Yeah, hey, look, I know a lot of guys procrastinate. We wait till the last minute. It is February the 12th as we speak right now. You've still got a couple of days to do this. They will actually send the gift card to you, or you can just pick it up at the Summit Shopping Centers. Woodhouse Day Spa located at the Summit Shopping Centers right off of Highway 280. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options. Let her choose from this menu of over 70 options. Nail services, waxing, skincare, body treatments, massages. Woodhouse Day Spa voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, order that special person gift online 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Gift card, simple solution. Buy them 24/7. Valentine's Day right around the corner. Again, Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
And while she's enjoying the day at the spa, you and the boys head over to the Golfus. It is on Highway 31 in Vestavia. And also Van Road, Highway 11 in Trussville. The ladies will love the place, too. I didn't mean just the boys. TheGolfus.com for all the information I'm about to tell you about. Birmingham's best golf simulators, courses you have seen on TV. You've always wanted to play. You can play them at the Golfus where it's always 70 degrees. It is never raining like it is today. There is never any wind. It is a great day at the Golfus. Bring the friends. Bring the office out. Couple showers, just parties. They got the screens where you can watch the games while you play on the simulator. Book a bay now, thegolfus.com. Get out of the office and get into the Golfus, thegolfus.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on the Next Round. We'll get to some sound from last night, basketball. I did want to bring up one other thing from last night. Everybody's favorite coach right now, Dan Hurley, got a big win. UConn beat Creighton last night. Creighton had won like 8 or 9 in a row and was really trending well. UConn on the road last night in Omaha. This video is from WOWT. Dan Hurley leaving, yelling at the Creighton fans and students, goodbye, bye. 2 rings, 2 rings.
Boy, I would
there.
call him something, but it's not politically correct.
And he, by the way, the guy, one of the guys, I saw another angle of this from inside the tunnel.
Impossible to like.
Following him in the tunnel, and he said, 2 rings, Baldy. He called some guy Baldy. It sounded like. I was like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess he
looked
can.
in the mirror?
I guess he can.
One more time, let it roll through, and then we'll hear from Dan Hurley. Here's Dan Hurley last night. UConn beats Creighton in Omaha. Bye. And then afterwards, he gets asked about waving to the fans. Here's what he said. Oh, I'm sorry. Cut number 5. I need to tell you that, Tyler. Cut 5. Let it play one more time, and we'll get to the soundbite here. Cut number 5. He's waving, bye, and he had this to say.
What was that moment like when you got to turn to him and wave?
Well, I just wish there was more people still here. But I've obviously had to walk off unceremoniously, just crushed by the crowd and, cursed at but I don't really, as long as they're not leaning over the rail and getting in my face. I mean, I think it's what makes college sports so much better, or college basketball so much better than any other type of basketball is. You got your, although the home fans here didn't get the win that they wanted, but they got a show. I mean, they got an intense game with with so much passion and a life or death struggle. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, that was very gratifying. I waved at some people, but I just wish that there was more of them still left. There's been a lot more left when I've lost, and did a good job of stopping me.
Wow. Okay, so
media guy wraps him.
I know the answer is no, but just think about it. Has there ever been two more unlikable coaches in one program? Gino Auriemma and Dan Hurley.
Nope. Not at the same time.
Can you imagine having to be in a car and ride like just 30 minutes with them?
Just to work. Just to do the game day version of riding from the house to the
give
stadium.
Me the closest combinations of pretentious bidet using.
Bidet using.
That is not a description I thought I was going to get.
Yeah,
But I don't know, man. I can't think of a worse combo. Like, there are combos people hate just because they win. It's not like they're obnoxious. They're just really good at the
Those
same
guys
time.
don't believe it. They don't even belong in America. Those are more like English, sipping tea, talking above you. But, I mean, I can't even think of some, like a combination that's even close.
I mean, Hunter's right. You already had it with Gino and Jim Calhoun at the same time. It was pretty dang unlikable.
Oh, I think Calhoun is much more likable than
I was
him.
going to say Hurley has amped it up from there.
Because I don't think Calhoun liked himself.
Yeah, I would say that it's very WWE, WWF wrestling what Dan Hurley has turned into. He is putting on a show. I mean, he seems to really enjoy.
But he makes it all about himself.
But he seems to enjoy being the villain. He seems to really.
Oh, I don't think he does.
Oh, I think he
does.
does.
I think he does. I think he sops it up with gravy, man. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, boo me.
That guy loves
rings,
being
baby.
hated.
2 rings.
I think he.
I mean, on the surface, but I bet he's the kind that looks at his social media timeline to see if people are bitching and complaining about it. He probably has fake accounts like Kevin Durant. It might look like it on the surface, but he is a sensitive guy.
Now, he may be. I don't know, but I think this guy is actually.
It's got to be a sensitive guy the way he was talking to an official.
I think he's playing a character so much. I think that's how much he likes it. I think he's playing a little bit of a character.
A little bit of a role.
Yeah.
The Hurley family role. They've had it for years. Tag team, Hurleys. Way to Wellness.
Like the British Bulldogs.
Way to Wellness. They bring you part of the show today, and then we'll hear from Bruce and Nate from last night's big win. Your journey to healthy living starts with going to this website at planforme.com, planforme.com. Way to Wellness. I've used it to maintain my weight for a while. Then I got off of it during the last 18 months and ballooned up to 200 pounds and got back on it and to lose weight. And now I'm in the maintaining part. Protein bars, meal replacements, they can do those things for you. They've got the injection therapies that are very popular in America now. They do it with a board-certified team there that will keep you in line on top of everything going on. They do it at a great price. And Leslie and her board-certified team does it with no contracts, no sign-up fee, and that first consultation is absolutely free. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living, and also by our friends at Hemphill LT. Tell us about the heating and cooling service that Birmingham's trusted since the 1950s.
Yeah, 1954. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Brody in the MyBookie.ag chat room may actually have it. A little bit off the radar.
Uh-oh.
Kim Mulkey and Brian Kelly. That's pretty close. Yeah. I don't think Kelly's as hated as any of these people, but boy, Kim Mulkey is.
Yeah, I think Kelly, if he ever wins a national championship, might become that guy. But Dan Hurley, and this is not in the moment, I can't remember a coach that is this unlikable.
Yeah. Coming off of back-to-back national championships. And I think that's why next year it's going to be harder for him to go 2 rings out of 3 years. 2 rings out of 3. You can't add that. Right now, he's 2 rings. He is the king of the sport.
But just imagine, you guys remember when Calipari made that unlikely run with, who were the brothers? Oh, my God. Andrew and I think they played Duke for the national championship, but they didn't belong. They were like an 8 or 9 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see, how weird college basketball is now.
Oh, that
things break the right way. Yeah, UConn gets an upset in the 8
The 8-9 game. I don't want them to be on the 7-10 line because they're going to take a shot at a 1 or 2 seed right there.
Yeah, but can you imagine if they get back to a Final Four?
I mean, that's what Izzo did.
I mean, they're just good enough they could.
Yeah, Izzo's one of those guys you don't want to see on that 7 to 10
prefer
line
not to,
back
I
in
would
the
agree.
day.
Yeah.
Not now, but back in the day.
Harrison twins, by the way, is what you look for according to the chat.
That's it.
Let's go cut number 1 first. Bruce Pearl last night, number 1 Auburn, getting 20 from Chaney Johnson, 21 from Denver Jones, 17 from Broome. With 16 minutes and some change to go in the second half, Broome had 4 points. Wasn't having a great night. Ended up battling out 17. Here is Bruce Pearl about the win on the road at Vandy.
That was a really good win against a really good basketball team. Mark's done a tremendous job. I enjoyed our preparation. I enjoyed watching, his team play, the way they've played, the way they've competed. Out of respect for Vanderbilt and their coaching staff and the way they do things, you could tell that we were ready. You could tell that this game had all of our focus. And got off to a great start. We stopped guarding a little bit there in the first half, and that was an issue. Our identity, and one of the things that got us off to such a good start, I think, this year was we really started to take pride on how we would guard and get stops, turn people over. It's a long season. It's a grind, and I think that we've lost a little bit of that edge. We got to try to get that edge back a little bit.
6-0 on the road in the SEC. So's Alabama, both 6-0 on the road this year. Each of them with just 3 more road games. I think Alabama's is I know one's at Auburn. Auburn's got the one at Alabama. And then I forget the other 2 Alabamas on the road. One of them's at Tennessee, is it? I think it is. Pretty tough schedule for Alabama down the stretch. But 6-0 for Auburn on the road. And they've got to go to Rupp as well.
Do you guys have a feel for this game?
I think Alabama is playing the better basketball right now. I again, hear what I'm about to say. With respect to the way Auburn has played the rest of the season, they're probably right now playing their worst basketball, which Auburn's worst basketball is better than almost anybody's good basketball.
Yeah, winning against Vanderbilt by double digits in an arena they were 12-1.
Don't hear me say that Auburn is playing bad basketball. I am not saying that. I'm saying with respect to the rest of their season.
If they'd beaten Florida, though, would you have said that?
No, but they didn't beat Florida, so that's why I'm saying it.
Yeah,
they lost to them at home.
That Florida image skews everything a little bit.
That's why I kind of, at least right now, lean a little bit Auburn just because of the Florida loss and how good Alabama looked last night. If Alabama was just shaky, got by Texas, Auburn hadn't lost a game.
I don't understand that thought at all. I think what you wanted for Alabama was to break out and get a little confidence, a little more confidence.
I mean, just what are the chances they shoot like that back-to-back games?
If you can do it again, If it,
I mean, I don't think they got to hit 17 threes to beat Auburn.
No.
But Alabama, with respect to the rest of their schedule, is playing, I think, maybe the best basketball.
But more important game, obviously, because it's in Coleman and, the rematch is going to be in Neville. But Alabama's schedule that Rece brought up, that we've brought up, it's more important for Alabama to win this game.
Again, I've said this before. It was 1 versus 2, before Auburn lost to Florida, before any of that. Alabama's path to the overall SEC championship, which I still think is very important. Because I think, I know what Rece said about Duke, but I think your overall SEC champion has a really good shot at getting the overall 1 seed and is a certain 1 seed. I think Alabama's path can only include a win in this game. To ask them to make a game back up on Auburn with the remaining schedule is going to be near impossible.
Yeah. I said that a couple of weeks ago on the basketball show. I agree with you. Alabama's only path to be an SEC regular season champion starts with a win at Coleman Coliseum coming up on Saturday. Last night, though, they went 6-0 in the SEC. 3 more road games to go. Nate Oats talking about the 103-83 win against Texas, where they averaged 1.43 points per possession last night. And Nate talked about this team being on the road and how they've sort of embraced the whole bad guy routine when they're getting booed.
To get 2 road wins on this road trip's big for us, gives us some confidence. We played well on the road, though. This is, I think, our 8th game in a row. We've scored 85 on the road. So we tend to, we've got a veteran group. They tend to like the road for whatever reason. They like seeing the stands empty early, when it can. they seem to embrace that kind of villain role, if you will, going in and knocking some teams off on the road. So I love this group. They play hard. It's great to see some of these guys, Diabate and Jaron shoot really well tonight and contribute to a great offensive game for us.
You remember the old adage in football, defense travels, running the football travels. Their offense travels.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, back to his point, at South Carolina, 88 points. College Station, 94 points. Rupp, 102 points. Starkville, 88 points. 85 in Fayetteville, and 103 last night.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about this, but I told Dunaway, I was talking to an Alabama fan on the way in, and, saying things I've only heard an Alabama fan say about football games, right, about this game, which just continues to blow my mind that that's where we are here. But I told them, I was like, you've got to play Auburn on the road either way, right? Auburn's got to play in Tuscaloosa either way. I kind of think Alabama would be better off getting this road game. Not that it matters because they got it at the end of the year, but playing it right now, the way this team is playing on the road. And that may hold out all season. I don't know. Heck, they only got 6 conference games after this.
Where Auburn is right now, where Alabama is right now. You sort of wish this one was at Neville.
I think just the way Alabama's playing on the road right now, if you caught it at Neville, this would probably be better timing. That's irrelevant because the game's in Tuscaloosa. But to your point, I was kind of emphasizing your point about the way this team plays on the road is remarkable. Because the normal thing is you don't shoot better on the road. What teams do that? What teams shoot better on the road than they do at home?
How can that last?
How can it last? But it has. We're more than halfway through the conference season. We've only got 7 games to go in conference play, and Alabama has lasted shooting better on the road than they have at home.
Their worst road performance, offensive output, was 85 points. And that is 21 more than their worst home performance, the 64 against Ole Miss.
This is where Carl Ravitch would tell you that 100% of the NCAA tournament games will not be played in Tuscaloosa.
I don't know what Ravi was thinking on that one last night. Ravi's a good one. He's had a distinguished career. But to point out the SEC's pre-conference record and then say, but in conference, the SEC's only 82-82, I'm like, that's how that's going to work, right?
Yeah.
And no matter how many games you're going to play.
That's right.
Football, same thing.
Yeah.
It's going to split up.
Yeah, that old conference record, it's going in the season at 500. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, if you want to check the other conferences, I got a feeling it's the same.
I think it's going to be 500. I don't know.
It's a 12-way tie. How many conferences we have? One guy because Jaron Stevenson scored 22, and his first big offensive performance of the year in a meaningful game like that. We sort of swept under the rug, and I don't know if anybody's mentioned it in the MyBookie.ag chat room, Brownie, but LeBaron Philon returned last night. It's the first time Philon has looked like Philon in a long time.
Yeah, the chat room moving quite fast. I haven't seen that one, but he was terrific last night. I was going to pull up the box just real quick to get his numbers exactly right. Coming off the bench, Philon with 15, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc.
He had an extra,
and 4 assists, by the way.
He had an extra giddy up in his step because his roommate from Link Academy, they had gone off to prep school together. Trey Johnson, the big stud for the Texas team, who's, by the way, fantastic and being projected as a lottery pick. Those two were together at Link, and they were paired up last night, so he had a little more motivation.
And to put it in perspective, LeBaron hadn't gone over 50% from the field in double digits in a game since the first SEC conference game this year against Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's been MIA.
Yeah, you just look at it.
A little banged up, to be fair to him.
Yeah. I have heard that behind the scenes there is an injury that people weren't talking about, but it wasn't significant enough to really bring up because he was going to be able to weather and get through it. But, before the 6 for 10 last night and the 15 points in 25 minutes, just the previous 5 games, 2 of 10, 2 of 8, 2 of 3, 0 of 4, 1 of 6.
Yeah. Led the team in assist and put up a stat line that if that's anybody's starting point guard, they take it every single day, and that guy did that in 25 minutes off the bench.
We will get back to college basketball coming up at the top of the hour and several more times throughout the show. Still a lot to unpack from last night and counting down to the weekend. But one NFL note before we get to the top of the hour, being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is Dr. B.
Yeah, Dr. B, best in the business. We had a meeting yesterday, and I actually got our man set up with Dr. B yesterday afternoon. You remember the guy asking about it. The guy that we were talking to, 32 years old, and was thinning out right at the front. What do we call that? The widow's peak, kind of?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, right there on the front.
Top of the head.
Yeah, and he said, look, I just need to maintain it. Looking at it, I'm not Dr. B, but I was like, he's going to be able to tell you exactly, but I think he's going to be able to not only maintain, grow this thing back. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, if you're starting to lose, thin out. Be proactive. Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. You can pick and choose which agents you want with this T3 new test that Dr. B performs. So easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. Men and women are ordering Hims, other products online. Don't even know if they work. Dr. B has been using this test for over 3 years. Amazing results. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and find out what will work for you. Call, schedule a consultation with this great team, 205-319-0316, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, t3hair.net.
Saquon Barkley, by the way, picked up $3.2 million extra in incentives on top of his contract this football season. Just by winning the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts picked up $2 million in incentives.
Never would have known. That guy is
a year.
So even kill. How excited would you be if you were incentivized $2 million for winning a Super Bowl? Back to Saquon. Did you guys see him shotgun a beer?
I did.
Scott said it's epic video.
We had it yesterday. We didn't get to it. Forsher will be able to pull it up here shortly as you pull it up. For Hurts, now this is not counting what each player got, which I think was like $200,000.
I saw that. It was 93, I think, losing, 171 winning, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was 194, but I'll take 170, whatever it is. But in the locker room, you get a lot of celebration, and one player walked up to Saquon Barkley with a beer and was like, hey, man, let's shotgun this beer together, celebratory. And Barkley looked like he's shirtless. First off, I admire that. Shirtless, and he looked to himself like, hey, I've done this before. Let me figure it out, get the bearings right. And then it was Olympic-esque timing on being able to pop the top and break that beer. I mean, it was less than 4 seconds.
Oh, not even close to 4 seconds. Probably 2.
2 seconds.
You can shotgun an entire beer in 2 seconds?
Yeah. I mean, like next level.
Yeah,
I'm probably a 4-second guy.
Yeah, and like Barkley, there was no spillage at all either. It was
he inhaled it it disappears, evaporates.
Yeah, really, really good yesterday from that. So here it is.
All right,
Diana Rossini puts the hole in it.
Yep,
and boom.
Maybe 3 seconds.
That's getting after it right there.
I said 4 to start with. Now you're going 3. After watching it again, it's closer to 2 for me.
Yeah, it's closer to 2 than it is 4.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. I would say 2.5 Mississippis there. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he crushed it.
My question to you: Jalen Hurts now becomes the last quarterback to win his first Super Bowl. If you had to bet every bit of money you have left in the world on the next quarterback to win his first Super Bowl, where do you go?
I would go Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think the entire roster, what they've got, and just consistently his regular seasons are so good. He's got to get over the hump in the postseason.
Yeah.
But I just think their roster is much better than Buffalo's. Joe Burrow, they've got to do something with their defense. Help me out. Who else I would even put in the mix?
Josh Allen?
Well, I said Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. I mean, one of those three is going to be your next guy to win his first.
Goff won one with the Rams? No, he didn't win one. He played for one and lost in that 10-3 game.
It's hard to believe they're going to snag Lightning again the way they did this year.
Yeah, it could.
That's a good roster.
It is.
I mean, Jordan Love, that's a team that could do it. I mean, look, the Commanders won the NFC Championship game with Jaden Daniels.
That's where I thought you would go.
No.
Because you love you some Jaden Daniels.
I do, but I would have to go with one of these AFC quarterbacks.
And
of course, you got to get by KC first.
Whatever the reason why, that organization in Washington seems to have really changed the way they do business.
Yes.
And people really are wanting to go there.
Let's just
they literally did change the way they do business.
I'm telling you, it would be good karma if they get the Redskin name back.
He discounted that. The owner was like, "We're the Commanders. We've built the Commander brand now. We're sticking with that. We're never going back."
Have they built a brand?
Well, they went to the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know about you guys. Not that I saw a ton back in the day, but I have never seen a Commander in the wild, any Commander gear.
I have. It's very little, yeah. I know a guy that's a Commander. Go to church with him. He's a Commanders fan.
Okay.
He's in the chat, too, I think.
Neither one of
maybe
you
not
said,
right now, but
neither one of you said the guy who actually said yesterday, it's our turn. We watched the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Congratulations. It's our turn. It was Dak Prescott.
I did not say Dak, no.
We'll always discount anything any Cowboy says moving forward until they win another championship.
I mean, when Brian Schottenheimer gets you to a Super Bowl, I'll be stunned.
MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag for everything you want to play. We will jump into maybe some phone calls when we come back. I see JD from Huntsville wanting to talk about the big game coming up. More of your reaction to the game. Tell us about MyBookie, Brownie, where LT thinks when we get to Friday, we'll get an early 1.5 line in favor of Alabama.
Yeah, we will see at MyBookie.ag. Whatever that point spread is, you'll be able to play it. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. And right now, you can log in to the Sportsbook area and use code NEXTROUND in the Sportsbook area. You get a 50% bonus up to $1,000 in the Sportsbook area. You want to play the casino games? Easy to do right there at MyBookie.ag as well. In the casino area, code TNR Casino gets you a 300% bonus up to $2,000. So Sportsbook with code NEXTROUND, you get that bonus of up to $1,000. 50% bonus. TNR Casino in the casino area to get that 300% bonus up to $2,000. Play all the games and play the casinos right there at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND and code TNR Casino at MyBookie.ag.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service. The New York Butcher Shop.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money. As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, here's the stat to back up what I've been saying about what the field of 68, 60, 55, 90 shooting performance last night. Jared Burson is a ESPN alum, loves college basketball, Michigan alum as well. And he loves college basketball and tweets out stats. Alabama last night at Texas, 103 points, 61.8% from the field, 58.6% from three, 90% from the free throw line. They're the only Division I team to score 100 points on a 60, 55, 90 shooting night in a road win over the last 15 seasons. That's how iconic the shooting night was in a road game last night.
Does it have the last team to do it?
He does not.
Oh, wait. What, North Carolina?
Oh, wait, there's more.
No, he did not. Did not say that. Yep. 77.3% effective field goal percentage last night is the highest by an SEC team in any road game over the last 18 years.
Hey, I'll make a prediction. If crazy. Alabama does the 160, 55, 90, they'll win on Saturday.
Yeah.
You're willing to make that prediction?
Yep.
That was the first thing I said last night, man. If you're an Alabama fan, you sort of either hope it does it again or you wish they'd have saved it one more.
See, I look at it differently than y'all. I think as an Alabama fan, you love seeing that. You want to see this team be as hot as you can going into this game.
You don't see it a lot, though, from a Saturday to a Wednesday or a Wednesday to a Saturday or a Tuesday to a Saturday. Sometimes NCAA tournament, you'll see it all the time, Thursday to Saturday, Friday to Sunday. Teams catch that heat and they'll carry over, and then the next weekend they're not as hot.
Brick City at that point. Before we get to JD and Huntsville, would you tell us about our great friends at Oats? Because I think the calendar's right.
Wednesday night. Brown, you got a question ready for tonight?
I do have a question ready. Why am I going to need a question?
Because I ain't going to be there.
Lance is not going to be there.
That's okay, though. Brown
the question
will be there.
is, where's Lance?
Will Haver will be there. Oats Team Trivia every Wednesday night. The winter tournament continues. If you want to be a part of that, still plenty of time to jump on and win big-time prize coming up at the end of the month. Get there early. Enjoy great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, fantastic sandwiches, including that Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light. It is a Birmingham institution, 2 locations, the original Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. It is Oats Tavern.
Buddy, JD in Huntsville wants to talk a little Alabama-Auburn basketball before the historic matchup Saturday in Tuscaloosa. What's up, JD?
Hey, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been a while, but I've been really busy. I was listening yesterday, and I saw on the chat people are asking where JD and Jeff from Anniston are. Well, I'm sure I can't speak for Jeff, but I know I've been really busy. So,
yeah, that's weird. It's almost like our studio was bugged because after the show, I asked about
that's right.
Jeff from Anniston. I was like, man, has anybody heard anything from Jeff? Because I enjoy his calls. I know he's a kind of polarizing caller.
Yeah, he may be.
I enjoy him, but we haven't heard anything from him, I don't think, since like September or October.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to have a full call ready. If he would just call and say hello and let us know he's doing okay, I'd appreciate it because – you don't hear from somebody in a while. You start to worry about those types of things.
And we don't know his identity.
Yeah.
Got to call Jeff. Come on, man. But so as far as last night, I think you had two situations where you got things that don't normally happen. I mean, Alabama's not going to shoot, 17 out of 29 from three. I mean, Stevenson's not going to be the leading scorer probably in this game Saturday. Mo Diabate is not going to go 3 for 3 from three. That's unusual. But by the same token, Chaney Johnson's not going to shoot 90% against Alabama. And Denver Jones probably not going to shoot 70%. But I will say this, that the team that can get that one guy that doesn't normally play that way to step up his game, that's probably who's going to win this thing, in the tough game, in Tuscaloosa. Listen, Jeff always has these questions. I've got a few questions that I think Jeff might ask. You ready?
Okay. Well, we're not auditioning for Jeff's role, but
we'll see how this goes.
Go ahead.
If it's good.
Before you do that, JD, can I just ask you this question? Sure. What really is at stake Saturday in this Alabama-Auburn game?
Not as much as we're making it out to be, because I want to tell you something. I really believe this. I haven't heard you guys mention this or anyone else, but I think both teams are capable of going on the road and winning at the other's place. I think Auburn's definitely capable. They've won in some tough places. They're undefeated in the conference. Alabama has done the same. So I think this game is big. It really is. But it's not like the end of the line. That's it. Give the winner the championship for the regular season. I think Alabama could go into Neville and win because they've shown how good they are on the road. And Neville's the toughest place to play. But you just saw what Florida did when they played so well. So it's a big game, but not the regular season will not be crowned Saturday. So
no, but I do think in terms of, and I think far more important in all of this is winning the regular season conference championship. You hang banners for that. It is not an end all be all by any stretch of the imagination, but of all that would be impacted by this game, to me the most important thing that would be impacted by this game is the regular season conference championship. For that reason, I do think it makes it more important for Alabama, just because you're on your home floor and the difficulty of your remaining schedule as they continue to say the back nine on the broadcast last night. That just makes this one more important for Alabama than Auburn to me.
And JD, I'll ask you this because you are a level-headed Alabama fan. You will admit, Auburn's been number one now for 5 straight weeks in the AP poll, school record. And even before that, when they won the Maui Classic, they came back and people were talking about Auburn may be the best team in the country. They've had that bullseye on their back for a long, long time. I feel like if Alabama wins on Saturday, that bullseye moves to Alabama's back a little bit. That they will become the number one team in both polls. And I think then people would start thinking, Alabama may be the best team in the country. And it'll be Auburn's been playing with that bullseye.
Yeah, who was it? Was it Gary Parrish that said Alabama's under the radar?
Yeah,
they really are, though.
And they really are, because Auburn has gotten a lot of the focus most of the year.
Hey, Cooper, Flagg, and Duke. Really, people don't talk about Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, I would just say that, it may be a little bit more important for Alabama because they have such a tough. They end the season at Tennessee, Florida at home, and at Auburn.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That could be 0-3.
Buddy, that's 3 potential 1 seeds. Now Tennessee can just continue to lose games, so at some point, I guess Tennessee's out of the 1 seed conversation.
Yeah.
They
losing last night
at
Kentucky. Surely at some point they become a 2.
Okay, but all right, so Tennessee's a 2. So that's 2 1s and a 2 that you are potentially playing for your last 3 games.
Yeah, but to JD's point, right now Alabama's last 3 games, at least as we sit right now, is against everybody in the top 5 except Duke.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So what was your Jeff-like questions? Let's get them.
All right, here we go. Now, you guys, I've heard you say this a lot, that Dunaway looks like Michael Keaton.
Correct.
Still, okay. So I'll just ask it for Dunaway, and then you guys can figure out your own scenarios. But Dunaway, would you rather play be in a movie as Michael Keaton, like Batman, Mr. Mom, Pacific Heights, or would you rather Michael Keaton play you in a movie about the next round?
If the money were the same, let's take money off because being Michael Keaton.
I would rather play the role of Batman or any of the other Michael Keaton roles.
Just for the costumes.
I want you to play Batman.
I really would.
Because somebody thought George Clooney it could get worse, or Val Kilmer.
And here's the reason why. Because you take artistic liberties with movies, and if we're doing a movie about the next round, they're going to make me look goofy and like an asshole sometimes and a little emotional.
So they're going to make it real.
They're going to make it. They're going to make
this thing authentic.
They're going to make it a documentary.
Condescending dick.
It's a documentary.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's why I said that. That's why
I need to get on that screenplay right now. I need to start writing that thing, man. That's good. That's something we all need to see. All right, now for some basketball questions. All right, so would you rather have one of the other scenarios? Would you rather sweep your rival, but don't make the Final Four, meaning that Alabama or Auburn would sweep the other 3-0, or get swept, make the Final Four, but don't win the title?
I'd rather make the Final Four and get swept.
Yeah.
You play to get to the Final Four. I don't care who sweeps me.
I mean, you guys remind me, how did the Alabama-Auburn the matchup last year?
Was it a split? I can't remember.
It was a split.
Yeah, but I remember Alabama went to the Final Four.
That's right. I know. I mean, that's the whole thing. The year Auburn went to the Final Four in 2019.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, so you remember going to Final
Bama
Four.
might have won both of those.
Yeah, I really don't care what I do against my rival.
And I'll use a football reference. I always have to remember that Alabama didn't win the Iron Bowl in 2017.
Exactly.
I know they won the national championship in 2017 in football. Making the Final Four, we have learned is gold in college basketball, and we never experienced it. But Auburn still lives off of it. Alabama's living off of it. Final Four, Final Four, Final Four.
All right, last question. In a 10-year stretch, would you rather, make the college football playoff every year, but only win one championship and make no Final Fours in basketball? Or in the same 10-year stretch, would you rather be in the Final Four every year, no football playoff, and win 2 titles?
Oh, I mean,
yeah. When you're at an everything school like Alabama, I don't think you have to choose.
Thank you, JD.
Yeah,
I mean, Kentucky fans answer that question differently than Alabama fans.
Right.
I do want, I would give up, maybe I did. Maybe I gave up a 9-4 no playoff season last year for a national championship in basketball. Would that be great? Yes. I think a lot of Alabama fans who have seen a lifetime of national championships really want one basketball national championship. I mean, at one point, I think it was just one trip to the Final Four. They got that. It would be great to have a basketball national championship. And I think Auburn fans, LT has them as more of a basketball school than a football school now. They had a 2010 football national championship in the lifetime of most Auburn fans. I think Auburn fans would crave a basketball national championship. Even though football is king, there's something elusive about winning March Madness.
I do really wonder, because I think it's easy to say this time of year, but I really wonder if you reset everything going into football season and you're like, okay, you can have one of the two this year. Which one are you taking?
Well, KLS48 in the chat, in the mybookie.ag chat room, no idea if he's Bama or Auburn, but he says, I'd give up a year of my life for a basketball natty.
Oof.
I mean,
he's young.
That's the great thing about basketball in this state. He could be either fan base. You don't.
Easy to say when you're in your 20s, right?
Or even your 30s.
Yeah.
But when you get to be my age, you're like, man, I hope I make it to April to see if Alabama wins the national championship.
Again, Rusty, don't know if he's Bama or Auburn. This goes either way. We gave up a good football year this year. That means we get a basketball natty, right?
Yeah, I would say he's Alabama.
I'm going to hedge towards Alabama, but both of them gave up a good football year.
Yeah. Our friends at A+ will make sure you've got a good-looking island and kitchen and bathroom in your house right there.
Yes, sir.
More basketball coming up after this. And what else we saw in the country last night, because it was a huge night in college basketball, not just Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah, Brad Bell is the guy that heads up A+ bath and kitchen. And when it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown house, my wife Jennifer scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. Brad Bell was the guy she picked, and I am so glad she did. His crews did tremendous work at our house, and they just basically changed the look of one of the most important parts of the house. That's the master bath. He specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Now, why is that important? Well, you spend a lot of time in those rooms. You want them to pop. And when you go to sell your home, it's going to help you get some of the money back on all of that, because everybody looks at those rooms. Master bathroom, the kitchen, and the master bedroom closets, some of the first things they look at. A+bathandkitchen.com is the website. Here is Brad's number, 205-422-1758, if you just want to fire him a text or shoot him a call. A+bathandkitchen.com, 422-1758 for Brad Bell.
Okay, what was described as a disturbing moment on the meltdown yesterday, I have not seen it. That's coming up at the end of this segment, so don't go anywhere.
Ooh,
all right, disturbing.
But last night in basketball, when I saw the highlight, I was disturbed by the fact that Alex Condon looked down, and it looked to be a massive injury. I thought the same thing when I saw Broom go down. Broom had a high ankle sprain. It comes out afterwards that it was only a low ankle sprain, the better of the ankle sprains, we're told. But after the Florida beat down a Mississippi State in Starkville 81-68, which was a massive good backup win for Florida on the road at State in Starkville last night, Todd Golden had this to say about the Condon injury.
Good news on the x-ray, came back clean. At this time, we think it's a low ankle sprain, which is obviously better than a high ankle sprain or anything more serious. It did not look good. I didn't like the play. I thought it was a dirty play. It was exacerbated by the pull down, the horse collar, and really disappointing for that to happen to one of your, very good players early in the ball game. And at the same time, I think it lit a fire under our group. And, I thought we responded the right way, and I thought our guys did a heck of a job of stepping up in his absence.
That big injury in the SEC tournament to one of their bigs last year, I thought hurt them in the big dance, the NCAA tournament. That kid's not even back yet.
Without Condon.
When Condon went down at first last night, I said, this guy, Todd Golden, can't catch a break, because that was going to change Florida's trajectory tremendously.
Yeah, and not just based on what you saw Saturday against Auburn. I mean, this is a big that can distribute the basketball. He can hit the threes. I mean, he can do a lot of different things.
Great defense.
Yeah, I mean, it overshadows, by the way, what was an incredible win for them. As he said, it almost acted as a spark for them, 81-68.
It included a 17-0 run after that.
I thought that was going to be a super difficult spot for them, coming off that win at Auburn and going to a difficult place to play in Starkville. Rarely do you hear a coach point-blank call out a dirty play, which is what he did right there.
Yeah, but if you see the highlight,
it does not look great.
Yeah, and it is horse collaring. Yeah. It is exactly right. It was.
But, I mean, rarely is a coach that honest about something like that. And you wonder if he had anything to say to Chris Jans or anything like that. I was not watching that game, obviously, with Auburn and Alabama both playing back-to-back. So I don't know if there were words exchanged in the handshake line or anything like that. I've not seen video of that. But obviously Golden, I mean, he wasn't fired up, but he was obviously perturbed about that.
God, it was a great YouTube TV quad box night last night.
I don't use that enough.
Yeah, I ended up.
I used it last night on one of the side TVs.
I ended up just doing
because I had UAB East Carolina. That was going when Auburn was going.
Right.
And that was actually a really good game. East Carolina kind of pulled away in the last couple of minutes.
And at that time, you also had you had the Tennessee-Kentucky game on ESPN, and you had Florida-Mississippi State on ESPN too. That was the quad that you had going.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was a great night of SEC basketball.
Yeah, those three and UAB East Carolina was one of the quads. It was really good, really good. So Florida wins. Kentucky wins at Rupp over Tennessee, 75-64.
That's a season sweep for Kentucky over Tennessee, which is crazy.
They won in Knoxville. Then they win at Rupp. They were without two of their big players going in, but Lamont got hurt again. He left early in that game, so there was no way Tennessee was going to lose this game. But Trent Noah and Travis Perry had big nights. They were 12 of 24 for three between the two of them. That's the fifth top 10 win. Now, that's not any of the metrics, but in the AP poll, that's the fifth top 10 win for Kentucky this year.
Yeah, who is 6-5 in conference, by the way.
Yeah.
Top 10 wins.
Insane.
Tennessee I'm going to guess. I need to see if Lenardi's put anything out today.
I'll check it while you talk.
They can't continue to be included in one-line discussions, can they?
No. I mean, if you lose games,
they're 7-5 in conference play. They're 7-5 with 6 conference games to go. I mean,
but boy, good Tennessee.
I know that is such a hard team to figure out, because when they are good, they're as good as anybody in the country. But they're also 7-5. They are basically a mid-tier SEC team in the standings. Now, they're not a mid-tier SEC team in the way they play most of the time, but in the standings they are. I'll tell you where they fell in the net, because again, I've told you Tennessee is that terrible character in the horror film that you lop his arm off and he keeps chasing you. You shoot him with a slug in the chest, he keeps chasing you. You hit him with a shovel and he keeps chasing you. You cannot kill Tennessee. They fell one spot in the net. They're fifth in the net.
They're fifth.
I mean, they're fifth. You got Auburn 1, Duke 2, Houston 3, Florida up to 4, Tennessee 5, and Alabama still at 6.
Yeah, Tennessee. I mean, he hasn't updated his sheet yet, but Tennessee's still the guy.
You can't put him on the 1. His last update had him on the 1, right?
Yesterday, yeah, before the game.
Yesterday. So is that updated, Scott, or is that from yesterday?
That's from yesterday.
That's from yesterday. Okay.
Yeah. So that was going into the evening.
There's no way you can continue to talk about them as a 1 seed, can you?
No, you got to at least
7-5 in conference.
You got to at least move Florida up there and move Tennessee down.
Well, which is what the net did.
Purdue lost last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I mean, again, Ken Palm is. I mean, it's not just the net. Ken Palm, as someone points out in the chat, has Tennessee 5, Alabama 6.
Yeah, I would say Florida is a 1 now. Tennessee's a 2. A&M's a 2, and Purdue slips down a little bit. Probably still a 2, but slips a bit.
So your ones would be Auburn, Alabama, Duke, Tennessee in some order. I mean, Auburn, Alabama, Duke, Florida in some order.
Yeah.
Would that be your ones?
I think those are the 4 best teams right now.
And there's
and I got no problem if Houston ends up creeping in there.
Yeah. All right, those are the metrics from last night. Kentucky beats Tennessee, and Florida beats Mississippi State. A&M beats Georgia. More games tonight. Ole Miss needs a win at South Carolina. Scary line for that one. Oklahoma and Missouri. Oklahoma sort of needs a win against Missouri. LSU and Arkansas. Calipari can't lose that one. Got to get back to get that buzz going there. And St. John's skinny number on the road at Villanova. Cal and Duke, Arizona State, and Texas Tech. All right. Yesterday on the Meltdown, it's every day on the show, every day live at 2 o'clock Central Time on our video platform. And if I can get Melton's microphone here, these mystery boxes that you guys open up, for those of us that are over, let's say over 40, a mystery box, can you just search Amazon online and say, I want to buy a mystery box, and you don't know what's in it? What is a mystery box?
Yeah, so I walk into a store all the time called Second and Charles that has mystery boxes, and they've always intrigued me because there's a mixture of DVDs and Blu-rays, and I love physical media. I love collecting it, and there's some real gems in there. I mean, I've been able to sell some stuff. I mean, it's like you don't know what you're going to get. You just know you're going to get 50 items for $30. That's all you know.
So more junk for that.
More junk for $30.
Yeah, this is perfect for the hoarder, right? Uh-huh. Go buy this would be a great gift for a hoarder.
Is it always DVDs and CDs?
Sometimes it's video games. A lot of times it's workout videos, which are
so they're used.
They're used.
Okay.
They're used.
Yeah.
But I decided, you know what? I think I can up my amount that I get, and I went to eBay and I got 200 movies for $100. And I thought that was pretty good. 50 cents a movie. Not bad.
That's not bad.
The thing that would scare me there, Melton, and look, and I get laughed at because I got this big DVD collection. The thing that scares me is like when you go into a Walmart or you go into a Target and they've got that bin of like $3 movies, and I haven't heard of 99% of these movies.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
So, hey, are any of these DVDs that you get on Amazon, is anything brand new? Like it's still in the package?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's wrapped up and perfectly presented. And
all right.
Sometimes I get some real premium stuff. For instance, I was able to flip something last night for $50.
Oh,
wow.
You're turning a profit.
Yeah.
So it was part of a $100 purchase, and that one singular thing you flipped for $50?
It was a part of a $30 purchase.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Turning a profit.
Wow.
Right.
So the other 49 things, I got basically.
Hey, Melton, with our lazy society, don't give them any ideas on it. It's going to be a job for somebody.
To set this up, I'm just supposed to read. It was a disturbing pull from the Meltdown mystery box yesterday. Let's watch.
Oh, that is particularly gross. Oh, my gosh.
This one has water damage.
Is it just me? I don't want to be the complaining guy, but I feel like the smell in the studio is genuinely getting worse as we progress into this box.
My vision is getting cloudy. I feel like I'm going to
it's moldy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
God.
That's what happens with water damage.
I'm not touching that. Ew.
What is that? And why
We're going to San Antonio and getting our money back. This is ridiculous. How do you do this to someone? I don't know how you look at that.
I'm not touching that.
Throw it in the...
Oh, that's disgusting.
How do you mail that out?
Mold all over it.
Oh, great. We can breathe it in.
Going to assume that disc doesn't work.
Yeah.
Wet
What was the
mold?
movie?
Pride.
Is that a good flick?
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
I think it had Bernie Mac in it.
Ironic if it had been Waterworld or something like that, right?
That is correct. I got a In the Heart of the Sea that was also water damaged, so that actually works.
Everything in there
that
was
was
water
terrible
damaged. I think somebody left a box of DVDs in their basement when a hurricane hit in Florida, and
just sold them on Amazon?
Now we got it in the Meltdown studio.
Man, I didn't realize. So really, you got suckers out there. You can just sell a bunch of shit.
Pretty much.
Yeah, if Tim doesn't file a PayPal dispute, I'm going to be mad.
Wait, so let me ask you this. So I can just box up all this shit that I want to get rid of and sell it as a
mystery box. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it'll work one time after you get reported.
Lance, we get first dibs on that, by the way. You're selling.
Yeah, because Lance is trash. It's going to be other people's gold, right?
I do have a bunch of DVDs that have never been opened.
The box looks like. Did y'all make that box, or is that the way it comes? It says mystery box on it.
That's the way it showed up. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That was the eBay version, obviously, out of San Antonio, Florida. And Second and Charles has not really disappointed us in terms of quality of product, but the eBay private seller, I mean, obviously, just selling us garbage.
You think if our man Lane Kiffin got a mystery box and that's what showed up, he'd be upset?
Yeah.
This ain't what I was, not what I was in line
That's
for.
for pride.
I'm not going to.
Poor EG still can't see out of her left eye. So
I believe that Lane has an assistant that sets up a mystery box every night. Never know.
Yeah.
What surprises.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's no chance that was urine or anything like that?
We got a Win a Date with Tad Hamilton copy later on in the show that also was covered in some sort of brown substance.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I spent an hour cleaning all of them.
Oh, well,
afterwards.
Have you ever watched a DVD that you actually bought through a mystery box?
I've now watched 16 of them. I watched 2 last night, actually. I watched 9 Months with Hugh Grant, and I watched Network from the 70s.
Wait, you cleaned all of them?
I did.
Wow.
Well, now I don't know if you can get your money back.
I'm not trying to, Tyler, I'm not trying to get my money back.
Yeah, I mean, how much did you spend on this? $30?
$100 on a box of stuff somebody wanted
but
to
what
throw
a pain
out
in the
after
ass.
a hurricane.
Is it worth the $100 to go back and send it back?
Yeah, you missed the part. He loves the treasure hunt. Sometimes you open it up and it's rats and skulls.
Yeah, but this way we get the treasure and the money back because they did send us a box of flood damaged DVDs that definitely will not play.
Melton is flush in poker money.
Okay, so here's what we're all going to do. We're all going to pack up a box and bring it to you guys as a mystery box.
That's right.
And we won't tell whose box is whose, and then you guys take a dive into
Look,
it. And
most of the time I'm bringing that box up here to throw it in the dumpster out back, so I'll just bring it upstairs next time.
I'll trade you for one of those Culver's. Hell, just a Culver drink. Give me a burger, I'll take it.
As long as we agree it's going to be movies in the box, I'm all for it.
I'm out.
All right, that's the Meltdown later today, 2 o'clock, live on our video platform every day. When we come back, we got 4 downs today and more basketball as we get ready for the big showdown. If you missed earlier today, Rece Davis, College Game Day, on his way to town, was on our show. You can get it wherever you get any of our podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. And we hope you watch us every day on YouTube and Instagram and on TikTok. Thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, and always keep us tuned in on TuneIn Radio on our app as well as you move around. This is The Next Round, being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Johnson RV, who love to say I love you by hitting the road.
That's right. Coming up starting Friday, they'll be at the Birmingham RV Showdown at the BJCC. Don't forget, though, you can take advantage of everything that they've got at the shows at either of their lots. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. That's the 2 lots there. And you can see more at johnstonrvcenter.com, johnstonrvcenter.com. I am also going to give you a phone number that you could call if you want to set up an appointment there at the RV show, just so you don't have to wait around and stand in line. You can make an appointment and come by and see the guys at Johnston RV. Call or text this number, 256-957-1081. That is 256-957-1081. Go see them at the BJCC this weekend for the RV show, johnstonrvcenter.com.
And our friends at New Life Art, they're the folks that will get you ready for a great Alabama memory. You don't have to get a mystery box with Daniel A. Moore. You can just go online at danielmooreart.com, and look at all of his great works over the year. And no mystery on who's on your screen right now. That's Nick Saban. He's the legend, and that is the legend. Painted by Daniel A. Moore, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championship seasons. Check out everything they have to offer right now at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at Roback.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of NextRoundLive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Back with you on the Next Round as we get ready to get to 4 downs in a second. I did want to mention, before Brown tells us about Image Card, that if you are printing money, they don't do that at Image Card, by the way.
Image Craft?
Image Craft.
Would you go if they printed money?
They'd have a long line.
They'd have a long line.
Yes.
They probably not advertising with us.
Okay, have you ever seen a really good movie on counterfeiting? Because, we're never going to be able to print money. I think the closest people come to printing money would be counterfeiting. Anyway, there's a really good movie from the 80s called To Live and Die in L.A.
I've never seen that.
Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
I have not.
I have not. I was thinking of Catch Me If You Can. With
That's one.
No, that's a good one, too.
Also, Thomas Crown Affair is basically about counterfeiting.
Yeah. Go ahead and knock it out. Image
Craft. Print more, spend less at Image Craft. They specialize for businesses that print a lot, right? And low-cost printer and copier supplies. They've been doing it for 40 years, so you know they know what they're doing. All the major brands, HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, Xerox, all of them. Free same-day delivery on all stock items in the Birmingham Metro, and they also ship free outside the area. Go to their website, imagecraft.net, for more info. Imagecraft.net. See them in person just next to the Pinnacle Shopping Center in Trussville on Gadsden Highway, 1151 Gadsden Highway. While you're online, you can shop online at imagecraft.net with the code TNR10 and get that coupon code right there, TNR10, 10% off. Or just go in the store and mention the next round, TNR, for 10% off. Imagecraft. See more at imagecraft.net.
Before LT tells us about Slice and we do 4 downs, what I was going to bring up about printing money, there are now 6 teams in baseball that will be over the luxury tax. So if you're looking to pick a favorite to win in baseball, as pitchers and catchers have reported, the Dodgers obviously at $378.5 million in a payroll just this year. The Braves, by the way, not over the luxury tax. They're 9th.
Wow.
And they're $218 million. That's the gap between the Dodgers and the Braves, 218. But these teams, 4 of them in the National League, are over the luxury tax. Dodgers, Mets, obviously, Phillies, and Padres, and then the Blue Jays and the Yankees in the American League. Those 6 have the highest paid payroll. If you think that equates to a World Series championship, make sure you make your pick from those 6.
Well, the disappointing team of those last year was Toronto. I mean, they finished in the basement of the AL East. But the other teams you mentioned, all in the postseason.
Padres were a little disappointing, right? Because they were sort of built to try to take your Dodgers down.
Well, they just didn't do anything in the postseason, but they won 93 games.
Yeah. So, and by the way, the Reds, who are not in contention for anything ever, did announce that they will wear a 14 patch on their uniforms this year, remembering Pete Rose, who passed away. There's a look at one of the road jersey patches. 14 on our side all season will be on the sleeve there. So banned from baseball, but they're going to allow them to wear the 14 number.
So here's a Jeff-like question. If I told you you can have 30 years tacked on your life if the Reds don't win a championship in those 30 years, but whenever they win a championship, you're going down. Like I would take the Reds' longevity for my
30
life.
Extra years?
Yeah, I mean, they can win it this year and you're dead. But I think.
Oh, I'd bet against them, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just this year? Just this
No,
season?
it's
for the next 30 years, I die the minute they.
But you get to pick one team in all of major sports.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Reds would be in the mix for me. I don't know where the Reds would factor in with you guys. The Browns would definitely be in the mix.
Got to be in there, yeah.
Oh, no. The NFL flips around playoff teams so much.
But not with the Browns.
Go look at the Browns' history as the NFL flips around.
I mean, the Clippers
they never get in the flip.
Are good, but I know the Clippers are never going to win a championship. I mean, there's certain teams that I would feel like.
I couldn't do the Clippers anymore because
Can you imagine a 7-game series?
I'd watch every minute.
I'd have to go Sacramento Kings, I think, in the NBA.
Well, now that De'Aaron's gone, I don't think.
Or maybe the Hawks. It seems like the Hawks always struggle.
I mean, there's all these franchises that have never.
But that would. I mean, what a shot to that
Clippers,
to that organization and fan base. Like, if you had a percentage, this is the team that got the most votes for people to extend their life on.
Yeah. I couldn't do the Reds because as soon as I signed up, they'd be like, the Reds have 18-year-old sensation Fernando Valenzuela Jr. coming in or something like that.
I think one of these baseball teams, really small markets, whether it's the Pirates, the Reds, the Marlins, the A's. I mean, those teams are never going to win championships.
I mean, my Rays do a lot with little, but Rays, White Sox, A's, and Marlins all are over almost $300 million less in payroll than the Dodgers.
And 2 of them will be playing their home season in a minor league park.
Yeah, that's insanity.
I mean, that's crazy to think about.
4 Downs brought to you by our friends at Slice Pizza. Great place to get out.
Yeah, hey, look, it's raining out there, but great place to go for lunch. Pep up your day a little bit. Slice, 5 locations for you. Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Get and see the Bajaya Brothers to view the entire menu. Go online, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Okay, who wins another national championship first? Kirby Smart or everyone's favorite Dan Hurley? And give me the answer, neither, if you believe that. I think Kirby Smart.
I mean...
And maybe it's just for my dislike of Dan Hurley.
The betting favorite would be neither.
Yeah.
I would probably go Kirby Smart of the 2, though.
No, you think the betting favorite would be... You don't think Kirby Smart ever wins another one?
I didn't say that, but I'm just saying if you were to bet...
I don't know if the betting favorite for both, if you had the combo. You know, if you just had one.
I went either or neither.
But I'm just saying, like, if you were like...
Yeah, if you had the combo, yes. But either or neither, I think neither would be your betting favorite. Yeah, I mean, odds are most guys don't win a championship. Odds are most guys don't win 3, and that's what both of them will be trying to do. I mean, look at the history of both basketball and football. How many 3-time national championship coaches have you had? Not many.
Not a lot. I would take Kirby in this one. Despite our parity, I still believe there's less parity in college football, and then it got tougher this year, but I still think it's more manageable for football teams to win a national championship. Ultimately, the best team won the national championship this year. I mean, Ohio State was the best team. That was the best roster.
At the end, they were, yeah.
That was the best roster.
I don't think anybody could argue it after watching the run they went on either.
Yeah.
So the best roster doesn't always win that NCAA tournament. In fact, it rarely does. So I would take Kirby Smart.
Second down.
Josh Brolin is 57 years old today. If I asked you your favorite Josh Brolin film, and he's been in some really good ones, so I can remind you guys, going all the way back to the Goonies, the Avengers, True Grit, then a couple of my favorites, American Gangster, No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I was down to American Gangster or True Grit.
So I know Forrester would agree with me, No Country for Old Men, and Josh Brolin, as Llewellyn, was incredible in that movie.
Best movie ever.
Wow.
Number one.
Scott loves No Country
the
for
best
Old Men.
movie.
Yeah, it's a top 10 for me.
Ever
It is fantastic.
I think I would go probably American Gangster. And boy, he's very unlikable in that movie.
He is slick
very
back here.
unlikable, yes. But I'd go American Gangster.
Tyler?
I'm going Goonies. That's one of my favorite movies
So
ever.
good. You know, Goonies is perfect for a rainy day if you ain't got nothing to do, because it's such an adventure. It lasts longer than you think it does.
You don't want the Goonies in a mystery box, so you don't want them to get wet.
We actually did get the Goonies in a mystery box,
Whoa.
but it was in good condition.
Okay.
I've got like this collector's set of the Goonies with director's cut, everything. But that is such an underrated film that really holds up pretty well.
I would go Goonies as well.
Are y'all ready for the
that one.
sequel? It's in development.
I did
Goonies
not
2?
know that.
Yep,
Yeah.
Goonies 2.
Who's in it, do you know?
Sean
Don't know
Astin's
yet.
got to be in it, right? He's in.
Yep, and I assume Ke-Huy Quan will be in it as well as Data, because he's been on a sort of resurgence lately.
But if Spielberg is not involved, do you think Brolin's like, I'm too big for this?
No. I think he'll do it.
By the way, they're pointing out in the chat room, gremlins you don't want to get wet. It was the gremlins that would multiply.
You also got Gremlins 2
I didn't
coming
even
out.
catch that. Is that
I thought that's what Dunaway was saying, but then everybody in the chat room's jumping in.
don't feed those Goonies after midnight.
That's right.
So that's Gremlins?
Gremlins were the ones that they got wet.
Good movie, by the way. Good Christmas movie.
Third down.
Bill Russell would have been 91 years old today. Better ultimately their career. Was it Bill Russell or Bill Belichick, who still has another chapter?
6-time Super Bowl champion Bill Belichick.
Yeah, but I think Bill Russell's got 10 or 11, right?
I don't remember. I know he won a lot. Didn't they win 6 in a row?
Yeah,
Is that crazy?
They won a lot.
With the Celtics?
I mean, it probably wasn't fair when Bill Russell was playing.
Yeah, I'm going to say Belichick.
Against a bunch of guys like us.
I know, really.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Belichick. He did what he did in the era of the highest parity that we have ever seen in any sports, or the most parity, whatever you want to say, that we've ever seen in any sport. I mean, no sport has ever created the level of parity among their teams the way the NFL has now. And in that world, Bill Belichick basically dominated. And that's That's crazy to consider.
Or did Tom Brady?
Yeah, Belichick gets the wins, just like Brady does.
I can't say that with Bill Russell. So I'm going to go Bill Russell.
Bill Russell had 4 other teammates. Somebody had to pass him the ball.
He did. I'm going to go Bill Russell. I never saw him play. He seemed like a nice guy every time he would come out to award the.
He's always sitting courtside.
The championship trophies for a while. I'm going to go Bill Russell.
Look who's in the house tonight, Bill Russell.
Yeah.
4th down.
This is going to be one of our more controversial, difficult questions in the history of 4 downs. But Abe Lincoln would have been 216 years old today.
Okay.
Ultimately, better career, was it Abe Lincoln or the SEC, the whole conference, every sport?
Seemed like we did Abe Lincoln this time last year on his birthday. And I think, if I remember correctly, everything he did for our country, including navigating and keeping the country together post-Civil War and the end of slavery in our country. Those are a couple of big things to overcome. For Abe Lincoln, it just means more.
Yeah. I mean, the history of the SEC.
It's
how many championships?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Abe Lincoln here, just to save the graphic, in case Brown goes some other way. Just in case Ohio State, Ryan Day, and the new NIL is not the John Wilkes Booth of this conversation. No, God, who shot?
That was John Wilkes Booth. You got that one right. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the original SEC teams aren't in the conference
That is true.
anymore, so I'm going to say Abe Lincoln because he held all the states together.
I mean, look at that train of thought right there by Tyler. Yeah.
I thought I just said something like that.
Yeah, but Tyler was far more concise.
Way to clean it up there, Goonie.
Did you do you think it was harder for Mike Slive and Greg Sankey to keep peace, or for Abraham Lincoln to negotiate peace between the Union and the Confederates?
Yeah, I remember hearing Mike Slive, and about him with Feinbaum when he came on, and he was like, "My goal is to not have one team on probation."
We laughed at him. We laughed at him.
And I think the last was like Arkansas track and field or something, but there was at one point where nobody was on probation.
And we laughed at him. We're like, Mike Slive he's lost his mind.
But he was brilliant. He set it up. He told the coaches in every sport, stop calling the NCAA. Call us. Complain to us at the SEC offices. Let's handle it internally.
That's like when Christopher got his button the other night. Soprano's watching it for like the 4th or 5th time. And he's like, if you have any problems, you come to us.
That's right.
You come inside. And that's what Slive wanted.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not deal with these other parties. We can handle it amongst ourselves. Let's not, embarrass ourselves by having to go outside.
That's right.
Of the SEC.
It helped everybody. Doing it that way. Look what happened. That is 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy, from the hot mama to the soul pie of the Bajaya special. You're going to absolutely love it. Slice and a salad today. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home. To view the entire menu, slicebirmingham.com.
Who Nate Oats thinks is the number 1 team, best team in the country, coming up at the top of the hour. The show also being brought to you today by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. 16 great locations in the state of Alabama to treat all of your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones, everything in between. They help you manage your journey from your 20s all the way to your 50s and 60s and 70s. You need to stay on top of your health, and they'll do that with you at UrologyCentersAlabama.com. Call that number, 205-930-0920, to schedule an appointment, get more details, or online at UrologyCentersAlabama.com. Give me the spotlight ready if you can, Tyler. I want to do the spotlight here, talking about Penn State in just a second. But The Athletic uncovered some documents and 2 high-ranking North Carolina officials to back this up. There is a code name, the Carolina Blue Matter, and you can read more details about this at The Athletic today. Carolina Blue Matter. It started 22 months ago, and they codenamed it Carolina Blue Matter. They have paid $600,000 in legal fees, has the University of North Carolina, to explore all realignment options and to keep their doors open, as one internal memo with trustees and athletic personnel says, amid the financial decline of the ACC. And there's at one point, one of the trustees writes in an email that was obtained by The Athletic, let's let Florida State and Clemson pay the attorneys and see what happens. Basically, let them pay the big bills for the attorneys, and we'll get the information from that and be able to navigate our waters.
Ultimate guinea pig there.
North Carolina is a big fish.
Yeah.
Really the biggest one left out there other than Notre Dame in realignment.
I still think Duke is and I said this a couple of weeks ago, the biggest singular brand in that conference, Duke basketball.
Because of Duke basketball.
Yep, I'll stick with
You don't
that.
think combo of North Carolina, all sports, including football and basketball, and Duke's a great university as well. I always picture like North Carolina and Duke are going to go together.
Well, I think it's the Duke basketball is the biggest name brand. It's probably not the most valuable property, though, because of what football brings in.
Maybe not. Do you think Clemson is a more valuable property?
I mean,
Clemson football? Florida State
I don't
football?
think so. I don't think so.
I don't know. Oddly, I think it's more market specific. So some of your bigger market teams that are football teams, like I would say North Carolina football and maybe even NC State football is more valuable than Duke basketball.
Yeah, I know that college football is our second biggest sport now.
Yeah.
But
and you're getting two metered big markets in Charlotte and Raleigh-Durham.
So in this question, it might be apples to oranges, but you're not necessarily, there's no appointment viewing with an ACC football team.
Not at all. Not one bit.
And I think with Duke, it's appointment viewing still in basketball.
They brought this up in the story in The Athletic, but to your point, LT, what you just said, and a brilliant thought, is how many the ESPN ABC could have put ACC games on ABC last year, and they almost had none on ABC. It was almost a triple header every week with the SEC because the ACC had no big games.
That's right. Fowler and Herbstreit did an SEC game every single week, it seemed. And maybe they did every single week. I can't remember a game they did that didn't involve an SEC team or wasn't just an SEC conference game.
This is another example of how close we are to becoming just two big conferences.
Just two big conferences.
It's ultimately going to happen. I don't know when it happens, probably sooner than later.
Yeah, and it would almost be fitting just to call it ABC versus Fox, even though they have CBS and NBC along the line. Let's hit the McCurry Spotlight. Ready, Tyler?
The College Football Spotlight.
You can rent from McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. All kinds of vehicles to choose from. That includes trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans. They make it easy to rent in and out fast. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest at Coleman, Skyland Boulevard at Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today, 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
Is Penn State this year's Ohio State is the question. They went and spent all that money on Jim Knowles from Ohio State to Penn State. They've got all those players coming back, some of them with a big NIL incentive to not go pro coming back, like Ohio State did. And they're even going to overpay, according to reports, DeMarco Murray, an Oklahoma great, who is the Oklahoma running backs coach at his school. The buzz is that Penn State's about to hire him just to be the running backs coach at Penn State. They seem to be all in on spending whatever it takes.
I've got one question. Who's coaching them?
That's James Franklin. He's driving the bus.
Yeah, not happening. Not happening at all.
Would you have said the same thing about Ryan Day?
No, not necessarily, because Ryan Day still won.
He wins big games.
Yeah, he had won some big games, and James Franklin's just never done it. And you got to look at this, too. They lose their best offensive player, not even close. When they got in a situation, 44, Tyler Warren was their go-to. Abdul Carter, defensively, their best. Both guys are going to be first-round guys. You lose your best defense and offensive player. You still got James Franklin. I do think the schedule is somewhat forgiving, is it not?
It is.
Bad out of conference. I do remember that.
Basically, Ohio State is the only game you said they'd be underdogs in.
Yep, because they've got Oregon at home. I think they probably will be favored. Now, how much better in year 2 is Michigan State going to be under Jonathan Smith? Year 3 for Nebraska and Matt Rule. Schiano's got things a little bit better at Rutgers. They've got to go to Iowa, at UCLA. There is another game they could lose, so they could go 10-2. If they don't get back to a college football playoff, I would be surprised, but I don't think they've got enough once they get there to go on an Ohio State-like run.
Keep an eye out for this story, change of story here, but Fox San Antonio, I think it's Channel 27 there, Fox San Antonio, a 7-month investigation. Your next big scandal in college football could be Australian punters. Apparently, there is fraud and scandal with Pro Kick, the people that bring Australian punters.
What, these are a bunch of 40-year-olds that have been playing professional football forever?
Apparently, they have already gone to college, some of them, and they are not eligible. And some of them don't have proper transcripts or some of them may not be of the age you think they are. But there's no age limit in college. But the 7-month investigation, and I encourage you to go look at it on their website to get the full details, is that some of these Australian rule guys are Australian punters that have gone through Pro Kick, which is a sort of a camp to bring Australian kickers to college football. Some of these guys, like one guy got sent packing. They didn't give to school in the report, but the kid was like, they were going over classes with him, the person in athletics, and he's like, no, I've already taken those at university. And she's like, what do you mean you're a freshman? No, I took all of those classes. I don't need to take any of those classes.
Wouldn't it be better as like, you're not going to have to take any classes?
Yeah.
But here's what I would say.
She apparently told him, pack your bags, you're out. And they sent him back.
I don't know what the equivalent in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, any of these cities are of like an Ole Miss or an Athens or a Baton Rouge. But if I could punt a football and I was single and you could reverse it, how many Americans would be going over there?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
To live the college life, make a little bit of money, and just to be back in that scene.
It is crazy how many Australian punters, and I don't even know who's got one in the SEC. I don't even know if
James
Alabama.
Burnham just graduated.
Was he Australian?
Yeah.
He was one of the highlights sometimes.
He really was.
He got a lot more work in Norman than he wanted.
The show being brought to you today by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher, LT.
Hey, so Valentine's Day, very simple, only 2 days away. You've been procrastinating, thinking, what are we going to do this Valentine's Day? Hard to get a reservation. How about be the hero? Grill a couple of steaks for you and your girl. She's going to absolutely love it. And here is the special right now from our friends at the New York Butcher Shop. 2 certified Angus beef fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, salad for 2, yeast rolls. You get the choice, $59.99, the prime, $74.99. Available for pickup today, tomorrow, and Friday. The Gaba Heights location, 205-970-7300. That's 205-970-7300. The Greystone location on Highway 119, 205-703-8825. Make sure you call. Tell Jim the guys from the Next Round sent you.
Samford, a 5-point favorite tonight as they play at home against the Mocs of Chattanooga. Ole Miss is on the road at South Carolina. They're a 5.5-point favorite on the road in Columbia tonight in Southeastern Conference play. You can play those games and many, many more. Just digging through them right now. Arkansas, 9.5-point favorite over LSU. And Missouri, a 9.5-point home favorite over Oklahoma. Play all those games right there at mybookie.ag. Now, if you want to play those games in the sportsbook, you're in your initial deposit going to use code NEXTROUND. That's going to get you a 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000 with code NEXTROUND. If you want to play in the casino, many of you are like, okay, I appreciate the sportsbook bonus, but I'm really enjoying that casino. Wish I'd have had a bonus there. All right, we created that. MyBookie listed to you. Here we go. Code TNR Casino. That gets you the 300% bonus up to $2,000. So sportsbook bonus, 50% up to $1,000 with code NEXTROUND. Casino bonus, that is going to be a 300% bonus up to $2,000 with code TNR Casino. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. That is mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND, or code TNR Casino, mybookie.ag.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with a TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations, the New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
I got nervous when I gave the times earlier for game day because
the host of game day was right there on the screen waiting to talk to us.
Rece Davis was with us earlier. You can go back and catch that on podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. But I was doing it by memory, and then I got a text from people who are organizing that over in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, geez.
And when I looked at the text, I was like, oh, no, did I get it wrong? They were like, thank you for announcing the times.
Oh, how about that? You got it right.
Show today.
Oh, I thought you were. I love when we have a guest waiting and you get so anxious.
I know.
Like the best ever was last year at Regions, and Riley Green had just started the conversation with us, and then Nick Saban shows up.
I was like, Riley, thank you. I'm sure the new song's going to be good.
Yeah.
Riley
you couldn't get him out of there quick enough.
Riley's that's the shortest interview I've ever done, guys.
By the way, his new album ended up being fantastic with I think Elle Langley or somebody like that.
Yeah,
it was really good.
She's an Alabama girl too. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Let me double check. I think Montgomery.
For the folks in Tuscaloosa, 7:30 doors for students, 8 o'clock for the fans, no cost. Game day 9 to 11, with number 1 Auburn, number 2 Alabama, 2 best teams in the country playing this weekend. This hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. If you're going over it, I mean, heck, tailgate like it's a football Saturday. If you're going to watch at home, go ahead and pick up the tailgate package from our friends at Champy's Mississippi Delta Recipe Tamales. If you don't know what those are, they're tamales with a little zip to them, a little more flavor to them. It's the way tamales need to be done. They are fantastic. The Southern Fried Chicken, brined overnight, cooked to order. Nobody does it like Sterling on the Highway 119 location of champyschicken.com.
Hope Hall for Elle Langley, just outside of Montgomery. Hope Hall. She is a Montgomery girl. That's 2 Alabama folk tying up there.
Great album. Those great duets that they'd had together. Tyler, let's do cut 4 here. This is the quote LT was talking about earlier in the show. Nate Oats, after Alabama beat the crap out of Texas last night, was asked, who's the best team in the country? Is it Auburn? Is it Alabama? Here's Nate Oats.
Do you feel like you're the best team in the country?
I mean, we'll see Saturday who's the best team in the country, I guess. I think we got a chance to be, but Auburn's the best team in the country right now, and we got to knock them out on Saturday if we want to claim to be the best team in the country.
No, that's exactly how you play that. If you're
yeah,
a head coach,
I
coach of that
didn't
game.
understand he laughed on the other side of it, but I mean, even if Alabama wins, are they the best team in the country? Auburn wins, are they the best?
They
team
were
in
the best team that day.
Yeah.
You'll determine the best team in the country. The only time that really matters is someday in April.
Yeah.
When you're the last team standing, that's when it matters being the best team in the country.
First Monday in April.
Yeah. So I mean, is Auburn right now? Yeah, probably so. Even after a loss against Florida and Alabama playing the way they did last night, if Alabama beats them. Maybe people will say Alabama's the best team in the country. Again, it doesn't matter till April.
So we all agree that the SEC is going to get the most teams in a tournament of all time because it's 11 teams, Big East 2011.
Yeah,
I went back and pulled that tournament and those 11 teams. How much success do you think the Big East had in that tournament?
It's interesting. Before I answer this question,
not to sound like Carl Ravage and say they were 500,
82 and 82.
I do feel like it was a big storyline. They were not very successful.
Carl would have said, I think they all finished with a loss.
That's not true.
That's not true.
One of them won it all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a win.
Is that a success?
That is.
Well,
okay.
right,
So
do you have the record?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you had 11 teams.
So one
go.
team went 6-0. So that's going to weigh down a record when one goes 6-0.
You had
Nova won it all.
No, UConn won it all.
UConn won it all.
UConn won it all.
Well, you can't get rid of UConn.
You cannot. No,
Yeah.
they've been a pretty good program.
Okay, so there were 4 teams that were one and dones.
Oh wow.
4 out of 11.
Yeah, so
that's really. I mean,
St. John's, Louisville, Georgetown, and Villanova all one and done.
Well,
Okay.
I would tell you, Brownie.
I would like to see.
There are some of those first round lost
Yeah.
teams that could be playing tonight, like Oklahoma,
Sure.
Missouri.
Well, what do you think a multiple bid conference's normal one and done percentage is? I mean, that's below 40%. I would say that's pretty average. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. So
I mean, if you get 5 or 6 bids, you're going to lose a team or two in the first round.
You've got 4 of the 11 already out. 1 and done or 2 and done to the round of 32. 5 were gone.
Wow.
Syracuse, West Virginia, Pitt, Notre Dame, and Cincinnati.
So 9 of 11 were going through 32?
So 2 teams made it to the Sweet 16 the second weekend.
Marquette made it to the Sweet 16, and they were done. Didn't make it to the Elite 8. UConn won it all. So you only had 1 team get past the Sweet 16.
Yeah. And when Alabama
I think that would be a disaster for the SEC this year.
100% it would be.
When Alabama was the 1 overall seed, that's what happened to them. They made it to the Sweet 16 and lost to San Diego State.
Yeah, that's not surprising, but when you have 11 in the field and you only have 1 that makes it to the Final Four, like even if, pick your team, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, somebody wins the national championship, but everybody else gets bounced.
I remember I was going to bring this up to Rece, but Rece had another commitment at 9:30, so we were running a little long with Rece. I remember one time asking Jay Billis about this in an interview, and this is way back in the radio days, and it wasn't even about the SEC. I think it was actually about the Big East, and maybe it was about this time. That, hey, the Big East, when you go through a regular season conference schedule like that has got to bode well for the tournament. And he said, I got to be honest with you, I really don't think it matters. And I was a little surprised by that, but he was like, I don't know that there's any evidence that shows that teams that survive the regular season conference schedule of the best conference in America perform any better in the NCAA tournament than, he didn't say this, I'm using this year's example, Duke. Like Duke is this year's example. A lot of people going into the tournament are going to say, Duke's good, but man, they haven't played meaningful games in a long time.
Yeah, and all I would say about that is, the one example universally has been Gonzaga.
That's right. They hibernate in the regular season.
They do. And look, Gonzaga has had success in the NCAA tournament, not to the level that Mark Few would like based on where they've been going into that tournament. But, they've played for a national championship twice.
Like, I just don't know that surviving the SEC is going to necessarily indicate anything in the NCAA tournament.
It doesn't. I just think one SEC team to win the national championship would be a successful year. 3 of the Elite 8, 6 of the Sweet 16, 8 or 9 of the field of 32. That's owning the tournament at that point.
Yeah, I will be really, really surprised if you don't get, and this sounds stupid, multiple teams from the SEC in the Final Four. And I'm talking about 2.
I understand.
But I feel really good that 4 of the best 6-7 teams in college basketball are in the SEC.
Give me the concerns for Alabama and Auburn going into this big game. We'll hear from Bruce Pearl again in just a second. It's brought to you by our friends at Hemphill. They bring you the lock every day, lanceslock.com. More games tonight, including a big one in the SEC of 2 teams. One's on the bubble, Oklahoma. Missouri is not. That's 8 o'clock SEC Network doubleheader after Ole Miss, South Carolina. Tell us about Lance's Lock.
Yeah, Lance's Lock, always brought to you by friends. Free plays up and available. 4-1 last night. So jump on, check it out, lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trust since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Any of those arise in your home or business. Our man, Adam, Chad, Andrew, those guys ready to serve you. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
So Bruce Pearl, after Auburn, goes to Auburn North and beats Vandy last night, gets asked if the loss to Florida could end up being a good thing. Remember Stephen Pearl on the show yesterday had that kind of thinking is for losers. Let's see what his dad says.
Was the loss Saturday, is it going to end up being something good for y'all?
It's a classic. You think so, but I honestly don't think it had any. I don't think it had any effect. I thought Florida beat us. I thought Florida was better. I even had some. Well, I'm glad we got that loss out of the way now. Like, what are you talking about? Have you seen our schedule? Like, believe me, tonight, you guys wouldn't have been shocked if we lost tonight, would you have? No, that's a good team. And the season it is a grind. It's a grind. And it's just about taking it one game at a time. So far, this team has done a pretty good job of taking it one at a time, and we've learned a lot from our wins. So Florida beat us because they were better.
So I'll go first on concerns for this game.
He agreed with his son, by the way.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Right, he did. Chad Baker-Mazara for me. Since in Little T didn't like the mile marker I used for this last night. It bothered her a little bit, but in the basketball postgame show. But from the common foul review and then flagrant one or technical foul that was called off of that in the Oklahoma game that gave him his 5th personal, he goes to the bench.
That was essentially an ejection. I mean, he didn't get ejected, but it worked one and the same.
It ended his night.
And you picked up 2 fouls on one play.
That's right. Yeah. It ended his night. So from that moment on, he didn't play the rest of the Oklahoma game. He didn't play well in the Florida game, and he was 0 points last night in the Vandy game. That is a concern for me because I believe Chad Baker-Mazara has to do Chad Baker-Mazara things for Auburn to reach their peak.
So some would say he's a little banged up. I saw Auburn fans last night, I think on your show with Taylor, saying they do not like his body language right now. He didn't start. He's not playing, whatever the case is, whether it's bad attitude, bad body language, he's just banged up, he's in a funk, whatever it is. He is not playing to the level that Auburn wants him to play right now. And that happens. It happens in long seasons.
And Lance, Chad Baker is such a heartbeat guy. He is almost a little of the rocket fuel in that engine.
He's a much more talented KD Johnson. Different player altogether, but I'm just talking about the energy.
Living on the edge a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get, but that guy, when he is at his best, I mean, he obviously is a slasher. He doesn't miss from the line. He plays great defense. But, he is a ticking time bomb, maybe.
Yeah. Taylor from the sick bed in the chat says, Dunaway bothered is a stretch. I said I didn't think it impacted his performance. I mean, Taylor fighting through deathly illness to send that message.
If I'm looking, Alabama 14th in rebounding margin, and Auburn just got out-rebounded 37-29 to Vanderbilt. On the road, could that be a problem? I mean, Auburn, traditionally this year has been pretty good in rebound margin, but Alabama's one of the best in the country.
To me, the biggest concern is Broome still does not have explosion. I mean, he's still playing a little bit.
Yeah. Not just jumping, just his movement at all.
He's struggling to finish at the rim, and his movement's just not as smooth, and I credit him for playing through it.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is Chaney Johnson's been as good as he has.
And that helps. But, boy, you would like to have – I would say if there's a concern for Auburn, it would be that Chad Baker-Mazara and Janai Broome are not 100% right now for varying reasons.
Let me ask you, does it not look like Broome is declining a little bit?
I hate
movement and speed?
I hate to say that, but he's certainly not improving.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that he's declining
And I'm not talking about his skill.
No,
I'm
his
talking
skill's
about
still tremendous.
Just his flow, his movement.
He just doesn't explode off the
Yeah.
floor. I mean, it's just he's not the same player he was before that injury.
Like he's moving around like he's in pain, like he's like me when I move around, but I'm old. I mean, he's moving around like he's old.
Again, I credit him for playing through that. A lot of guys would probably have set that out a little bit longer. He got back as quick as he could.
And he did get back a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard Gary Parrish talk about it yesterday. Like when we talked about player of the year, I thought Janai Broome would be out a lot longer than he was. For Alabama, it's simple as turnovers.
Yep.
I mean, 17 last night. They still win the game by 23, but this is a problem, and it's not going to go away. I'm just telling you, they're 333rd right now nationally in turnover margin.
It's who they are, and you know, some nights are going to be better than others. You're not going to have 17 every night, obviously.
Yeah, some nights you're going to have 21 and lose at home to Ole Miss.
Yeah, you would hope not. Some nights you're going to have 11. Didn't they have the 11 the other night at Arkansas? Was that what it ended up being?
Yep.
Again, as we talked about with the turnovers the other day, some of that is just style of play. You cannot be that frenetic in your pace and not turn it over some. Yeah, you I don't know what Nate Oats would say. He'd probably say 0 is an acceptable amount of turnovers.
Well,
but
that's what I was going to say. Jimmy Dykes said on the show last night, on the broadcast last night, that Nate would be happy with 10, 5.5.
5.5, and I would agree.
Royal Payne said in our post show last night, Nate said a couple of years ago 12 was his number.
I mean, again, you can't expect to play that pace and not have some turnovers.
If you're going to shoot like you do last night, I don't care how many times you turn it over.
Well, that's going to overcome a lot.
Yeah. They were getting 1.43 points per possession last night.
And it doesn't necessarily, when you're not turning the basketball, equate to a lot of success. Who do you guys think the best turnover margin team is in the SEC?
In the SEC?
In the SEC?
Yeah. Well, Ole Miss played a game against Kentucky with 1 turnover, so I'm gonna vote them.
It is Ole Miss. They're 3rd nationally, and Vanderbilt's 8th nationally.
Yep.
And those are good teams. I mean, those are tournament teams.
Yep. Vandy surprises me. So those are concerns. Any more for Alabama or Auburn going into this big monumental matchup?
I mean,
I've seen production from all of Alabama's guys now. I mean, with Stevenson, what he did last night.
Yeah, I mean, that's a concern for Auburn if Jaron Stevenson has found himself offensively.
And LeBaron to play like he played last night. That was kind of the Chad Baker for Alabama. It kind of disappeared a little bit and battling injury.
Yeah, and a concern for Alabama is if Broome does find, Bobby says in Auburn fans, Broome looks 70% right now. Like he came back from Tennessee, looked 85%. Now he looks 70%.
So Bobby agrees that maybe it's
getting worse.
Starting to wear on him a little bit.
Yeah, it's starting to get worse. Yeah. But if Broome found his game the way Chaney Johnson, or Broome not found his game, but got a little healthier the way Chaney Johnson is playing, that'd be a heck of a 1-2 punch right now.
It's easier for me to say this since I'm not an Auburn guy, so it doesn't sound like you're crying. But Broome does have to play through more contact, I think, than some people have to play through with his reputation, i.e. Cooper Flag. But Janai Broome, people are starting to bang on him a little bit. And if you're hurt and you're getting banged on a lot and not getting calls, that can frustrate the heck out of you.
Sure. I mean, I don't think it's a Shaquille O'Neal situation, but
Broome.
No, you don't want to send him to the line.
Nope.
No, I'm saying that, but I mean, it's not like obvious he's getting crushed.
I don't think he gets. I mean, to be a National Player of the Year contender, I don't think he gets calls. I don't think he gets calls like you think he should. I mean, they've been the number 1 team in the country for 5 weeks. For 5 weeks, number 1 in the country. They won the Maui Classic. I mean, nobody's had better headlines all year long than Janai Broome, and he doesn't get the calls. I mean, if anybody gets calls, it should be Cooper Flag, Janai Broome, right? Mark Sears for Alabama. He was sort of the face.
He gets a ton of them, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They said the stat last night. Again, I don't know if I can trust the stats from that crew. But
well, the stat was factually correct.
That the SEC is 82 at 82? Yeah. Yes, it is factually correct. But they said the stat last night and I was looking for this and I never could find it, that Sears leads the conference in fouls drawn, which I would 100% believe.
Yeah,
it's probably his strength. He does a lot of things very, very well. But
and it can get him in trouble, too.
Sometimes it leads to those turnovers. But I think if you're Nate Oats, you would like to cut the turnovers down, but as many free throws as Sears draws. you'll give away some of those turnovers to get that many free throws out of it, right?
He had 18 last night, and I remember him hitting one shot. I know he hit more from the field, but I remember him hitting one.
Yeah.
The rest of it came at the free. I know he hit more, but in my memory, it was always at the free throw line for him. One more thing to get to in this segment before we get to trash in the next segment. Show being brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, just a great local business guy. The guy's got 10 kids. Some of them work for the family-owned business that help run the crews. What's more American than having a family-owned business like Storm Restoration Roofing? Over 20 years locally owned. Greg and Andrea, the wife, they own the company. They run the company. In fact, the number on the signs, the number on your screen, the number I'm going to give you, it's Greg's freaking cell phone number. So you can call or text Greg right now. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. Also, free no-cost roof inspection, no obligation. Can't beat that. And the insurance claims, the way they handle older roofs, have changed in the last few months. And Greg wants to sort of give you a free insurance checkup. He's got some information that may help you if you've got a roof that's 5, 6, 7, 8 years older. Greg's got some information to help you out. Roof replacement, storm damage, he does it all. Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City, right there. All right. We saw Patrick Mahomes have a really, really bad Super Bowl.
Maybe his worst game as a professional. I think you can make the argument.
In college football terms, give me the quarterback in the national championship game, or a game that was meant to be for the national championship before
Gino
the
Toretta?
Gino Toretta will pop to mind. That had a Mahomes-like night.
I mean, Troy Smith, Ohio State against Florida. I mean, he couldn't do anything because he was smothered by that defense. But those are the two guys, former Heisman Trophy winners, that jump out. I think Winky against Oklahoma, that defense.
Yeah, that whole game was messy, though, wasn't it?
That would be another one. I'm trying to think, I guess they were great that year because they won Heisman trophies.
I got one for you.
I'm going to pull the box up on this. I bet it's better than you remember.
Tua Tagovailoa
against Clemson?
Against Clemson in Santa Clara.
Man, it seemed like Alabama was just like a yard away from like critical first downs multiple times that would have kept them in the game.
He was 22 of 34, 295, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. That's not as bad as it gets remembered.
Stats are for losers.
Well, I mean, the first pick was a pick 6. So, that's going to change things.
And the game got away from them, and there was a lot of busted plays for Clemson. It's like everything broke wrong for Alabama. Clemson was obviously the better team.
Yeah,
but that game was, I'm not going to say it was closer than it seemed, but I think talent-wise it was a lot
Lawrence
closer.
In that game was 20 of 32, 347, 3 touchdowns. I remember him being like 44 of 50 in that game, seemed like, you know?
Those receivers caught everything in that game.
Well, especially Justin Ross. That was Justin Ross. Probably ended up being the best game of his college career, unfortunately.
Just to bring this up, and a lot of this was garbage time. I don't remember Tua's being garbage time.
What?
On some of those stats.
Yeah, they were
playing from behind, basically from the middle of the second quarter on. I wouldn't call it garbage time.
Now, all of Mahomes was garbage time in that fourth quarter. Because you look at his numbers, 21 of 32, 257, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mean, didn't he have like 40 yards at halftime?
He did, yeah. And like all of Kelsey's numbers were pretty much garbage time, too.
I remember I was at the Auburn-Oregon National Championship game, and I still blame it on that crappy venue out there because nobody could stand up without slipping and falling. But I just remember thinking what an offensive show that was going to be.
Yeah, it was not.
And it ended up not being.
You had Cam Newton versus...
Who was the Oregon quarterback?
It wasn't Mariota yet.
Darian Thompson.
I think that's right, yeah.
I just thought, man, I'm going to the desert for the national championship, and it's Oregon and all their speed, and Cam freaking Newton. This is going to be 38-35, 42-40. And
it did seem, because that number, I think, was like 68.5 the total. And, you know, we were talking about, like, how do you keep this game under?
And what was
with
the
these
final
two
score?
Offenses? Oh, I mean.
Was it 20-17?
I mean, it went to overtime, which inflated the score a little bit.
Yeah, it was very, very low scoring. I want to say 20-18.
Or did it go to overtime?
It did not go to overtime. They kicked a field goal.
You thought it was because Oregon got the 2.
Yeah.
And then it was the incredible run with
Trey Mason, right?
Yeah, no,
Michael Dyer.
Michael Dyer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where you thought he was down, but he wasn't.
But he wasn't down. And then for all
because if he's down there, they probably go to overtime, right?
That's right.
22-19. I had 20-18. 22-19 was your final there. Yeah, not near the offensive showcase we thought we were going to get in that one.
All right. So Pat Mahomes coming off that, waking up some echoes of bad. I knew Gino Toretta's name would pop out. You buzzed in before the question was even over, all the way back in 1992. All right, we're only 192 days away from the start of the college football season. Big basketball this weekend coming up. When we come back away from sports, trash is up next on the show. That's being brought to you today by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They always bring you the final hour of the show. They have done that for all 887 of our shows here, and they'll continue to do that because Sterling is a guy who loves great food and great sports talk, and he's been with us since even before show number 1. He does it right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Other than the fried chicken, other than the tamales, you get the hand-cut chicken fingers right there. Kids love those. Adults love them. They're perfect for parties or business meetings. The po' boys, because I can't say po' boys, but po' boys.
Just say po.
Po' boys. I can't say boys.
Well, why did that mess boys up?
I don't know. I'm from Alabaster. I can't get it right. But in Alabaster on Highway 119, go check it out. Sterling, Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service. The New York Butcher Shop.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money. If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
You know how bad Christmas gifts can be sometimes for adults?
Not anymore. I'm just getting a mystery box. Cheap, it's exciting.
You saw how bad that went.
Imagine if you opened at Christmas a moldy DVD, how bad you would feel.
Maggie got me this hoodie 2 years ago.
I like that hoodie. I noticed it earlier today.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Under the tree this year.
Same hoodie.
The same exact hoodie, same color, same size, everything.
Did she not notice it?
I guess she forgot. I don't know if she keeps a Pinterest board, a dream board. I don't know how she does gifts.
Have you ever seen the meme of the
At
old
least she
man?
gave you something.
Yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
The meme of the old man wearing a shirt that he got for Christmas. He's actually wearing the shirt and he's holding, it's one of those, how they do the button-down collar shirts and it's folded just perfectly and they got the pins in the back of it. So it's still folded up and he's holding it up like this to the shirt he's wearing. It's the same exact shirt.
Brand, I just lived that. Yes.
This guy was wearing it on Christmas Day. When he was opening gifts on Christmas Day, he opened that shirt.
I've never heard of that. I've heard of people re-gifting and accidentally giving it back to somebody.
Yeah. If I remember,
that's
worse.
Look at this old boy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
fantastic.
That's on Christmas Day.
Yeah. If I remember when I get home today, it's still in the bag. We have not sent it back to get a different one yet.
Wait a minute. That's the old one you're wearing?
No, this is the old one.
Yeah, just get a different color. That's all you need.
Well, that's what I said. I said, just send it back and pick a different color.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good-looking hoodie.
All I have is shades of gray, black, and blue. I don't know what.
Hey, so whatever happened to this infamous Chinese Tampa Bay Bucks creamsicle hoodie that we haven't
refused
seen?
to wear it?
Well, I mean, I was going to wear it yesterday, and then we had a meeting afterwards. I need to wear a collared shirt. So,
do you think of it's a one of a kind? Like if you did you just for the rest of your life, you just had to find one of those in the wild, and if you found one in the wild, you get $10 million.
We have no meeting tomorrow that I'm aware of.
Well, I was going to wear it Friday, but then Taylor and I may be doing a live show at a local bar, so I'll wear it tomorrow.
We might be having a meeting tomorrow.
Jeez.
Okay. Do I need to be dressed up?
No, you're fine.
It is going to be one of a kind because the lettering on the back literally is spaced like that.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it is spaced like that on the back.
Well, I mean, I know
the only one because the factory is now closed down.
Yeah,
that could be the case
there's no
too,
doubt.
yes.
I mean, they probably
somebody rated it, got the kids.
They probably created my sweatshirt on level 2 and COVID on level 1.
See,
where it came
I was
from.
going to say I don't have a problem. Like, and I know Brown's weird about this. Like, if I buy a T-shirt, if it comes to me, I can wear it.
Nope.
I don't have a problem with it.
Straight in the washer.
Are you like that? It doesn't bother me. But if I get it from China like that,
dude, you had to watch this one. It had a smell to it. Like I opened it up and it smelled like Milton's mystery box.
That's context.
It's awful.
You didn't get pink eye when you opened it, did you?
No, but it.
I'll try it on. Tyler. But if I like it and keep it, the first thing I do is rip the tags off, throw it in the dirty clothes.
It depends for me. Like a lot of companies I buy from just already have it in a dust bag.
Yeah.
So sometimes the only issue is if it's like a fresh, like printed shirt, the ink will smell real bad.
See, like Roback, I'll pull that right out of the bag. And I'll put a T-shirt. I always wear a shirt under it.
Oh, I would too on a Roback.
But yeah, I'll throw that right on.
I would do that with Roback. Yeah. Nice American-made products.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you do it with your
Roback.
Alabama shirt?
I would just I wear Yay Alabama just right when Aaron Suttles gave it to me. New Batman Bourbon later today, by the way.
Tomorrow.
It'll be out tomorrow. Batman Bourbon tomorrow. With Aaron Suttles. Michelson Laser Vision, before we get to trash. Tell us about Michelson.
Oh, just the absolute best in the business. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure right here in the state of Alabama way back in 1995. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. I tell the story all the time. I wore the contacts For over a decade, I was wasting money each and every year on the contacts and solution. Finally went to see Dr. Mark Michelson. I screened out, got the procedure done. I've still got 2015 vision more than 20 years later, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. $0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Did you see the Jets' request they made to Aaron Rodgers if he was going to re-sign with them?
No, I did not.
If you're re-signing with us, you need to be at all the mandatory mini camps. Remember, he didn't go last year. He went to Egypt. And you have to give up doing the Pat McAfee show every week.
No, they didn't say that.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no telling what McAfee pays him, too. I mean, you're asking, and I know Aaron Rodgers makes a lot of money, but I think McAfee probably pays him somewhere around $1 million.
Yeah, to me, two really petty things. Look, here's the deal. If Aaron Rodgers played like Joe Burrow last year, none of these demands are being made.
That's correct.
It was, we want to move on for you. We're going to throw things out there that you're not going to be able to live with, because those are really petty.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't need to be at these OTAs, in my opinion. Aaron Rodgers, what does it hurt that he's doing the Pat McAfee show?
It always makes headlines as the way this was being reported, but
well, at least the Jets are in the news.
Yeah. I would say this. You're right. They don't want him back. So they're moving on from him. You can't wait on Aaron Rodgers, and you know he's not going to make a decision anytime soon.
No, he's going to play it out for drama for sure.
Yeah, I mean, how can you, if you're an NFL team and needs a quarterback, how can you even factor Aaron Rodgers into your plans?
What I don't want, though, is, you guys brought up the fact yesterday that Matt Stafford could possibly be moving on.
Oh, you would hate that.
I would hate that Aaron Rodgers comes back to California for a one-year deal.
I mean, from our vantage point, it would be fun to watch you have to watch it as much.
Now,
as
he is more digestible than he was a couple of years ago. We did talk about it. He did kind of an image makeover, but not only that, I just don't think he's a shell of the player he once was.
Yeah, he's just not good.
And I think the Jets, to make him fly out to see you, why not have this conversation on the phone?
Yeah.
Look, these might be non-starting points. We're not going to allow you to do McAfee show. You're going to have to come to all the OTAs. He probably doesn't get on that jet. It's kind of a slap in the face to me, to Aaron Rodgers, to get him to fly out to you, and then you put out demands that are so petty he's not going to. Yeah. There's no way he agrees to do that.
Yeah, it sounds like you were definitely wanted to get rid of him, but you wanted to at least make it look like he didn't agree to normal things.
And that ain't normal. But the OTAs, you can make that argument. Hey, man, we need to build rapport. We need a leader in here. We all need to be on the same page. The McAfee thing makes no sense.
Deebo Samuels has been given the okay from the 49ers. We were talking about this with 49ers fans yesterday. Who needs Deebo? And who?
Well, I think Pittsburgh needs a semblance of another wepen. Whether that's
you're calling George Pickens the first weapon.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would, and I think
that's sometimes
Freiermuth is good.
Yeah,
but I think if you brought in a veteran like a Deebo or a Cooper Kupp, I think they can help. It's so weird. Look, George Pickens was just on scoring a touchdown. We were talking about that, but I think they could help out a guy like George Pickens.
It seems like Pickens needs some off-field help as well as on-field help. Don't you guys agree?
I do. I mean,
like
showing up on time according to the Athletic, that kind of stuff.
It seems like a veteran leader, and maybe that is a Cooper Kupp, maybe it is a Deebo Samuel, that he would trust could maybe help him out a lot.
Where's your Dolphins with Tyreek Hill? Is he done?
I mean, it depends on what day you've looked at it with Tyreek. He was very frustrated after the loss to the Jets. The Dolphins weren't going to get in the playoffs either way, and basically said, I'm out. Dolphins management met with him. He cooled off a little bit. I think for the right price, they would trade him, and he would be okay with that. But
he's
I don't
under
think it's
contract.
Yeah. He's under a big contract.
Yeah, I think
he and Waddle are both.
Outside of the money, I think Tyreek would love to be back in Kansas City. Just guessing.
Yeah.
No, I think he regrets giving up a consistent Super Bowl team to go not make the playoffs in Miami. Of course he does. Who wouldn't regret that, right?
They've asked Deebo to seek. He's got a right to seek a trade, so he can go. If he can find somewhere he wants to go.
It's Kansas City, one of those places, is the Chargers. Lad McConkey's become really good as a rookie, but, they need another weapon. Kansas City, I think they need another weapon, and especially with Travis Kelce, who's going to take his time to figure out his decision moving forward.
What would it take for San Francisco, and I know you don't want this, to get Tyreek away from the Dolphins? That obviously they'd take the big contract.
Well, I think it'd be Deebo plus something. I mean, you're not trading.
I don't want that.
You're not trading a receiver for receiver.
Yeah.
And Deebo Samuel and Tyreek Hill, right? So it'd be Deebo probably plus draft picks. You could probably work.
But
that
I do
deal.
think back to the conversation we had yesterday with a 49er fan. like Debo coming out of this year, somebody's going to get a lot of value out of Debo because the
for 2
numbers
years.
weren't there. Yeah. You're going to get, I mean, Debo for a minute was one of the top 3 or 4 playmakers. He's just always been underutilized in San Francisco. But he did bitch and complain. He didn't want to be utilized like a running back.
Yeah.
But there are so many different things that he can do for a football team.
And that would be the problem for him coming to Miami is whose system is he playing in Miami? The same system he was upset about in San Francisco, right? I mean, Mike McDaniel was just there.
If he wants him to be the two-way guy.
I mean, I don't know why you would go get him in the system that Kyle Shanahan looked and said, this is the best of Debo Samuel. We're running the same system, but we're going to use him differently. I mean, that probably would not make a lot of sense.
But if you're Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins, hey, man, your best days were when you were actually doing this.
Right.
Let's utilize you at your best, and we can do it in this offense.
Is it stupid? And I don't even know if the Dolphins would take this. Debo and the 49ers first-round pick for Tyreek Hill, is that stupid?
Not for San Francisco. Tyreek Hill's a game changer.
Yeah, he is.
Would you take that if you were the Dolphins?
I would say that the Rams might give up Cooper Kupp in a first for Tyreek.
No, but see, so Miami's going to have a quarterback that's always hurt and a receiver that's always hurt. Yeah, I would love that, Lance. Let's don't do that.
All right, let's get to trash. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Tyler, do you have a mystery box open?
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right are ready to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer, seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. Speaking of veterans, veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home or your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call that Birmingham office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. So we never confirmed if Mr. Beast is the Antichrist, right?
Who was it that was saying that?
Jury's still out.
No, it was on the way to SEC Media Days out in Dallas. It was something that popped up, and it was just one of those wormholes I went into, but it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Beast, known for those wild stunts, his most recent video is perhaps his wildest yet after he was granted, quote, unrestricted access to the pyramids of Egypt for 100 hours to explore. It's kind of an update story. We talked about this a couple of months ago on Trash. Now, Mr. Beast was joined by his crew and Dr. Zahi Hawass, an Egyptologist and former minister of tourism of Egypt. They were allowed to explore areas of the pyramids never seen before by the public. Now, Mr. Beast started his descent with arguably the most recognizable of the pyramids of Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The group explored a tomb believed to have once held a mummified pharaoh, with Mr. Beast explaining 100 years ago, this chamber may have contained the king's mummified body. After visiting the royal tomb, Dr. Zahi led Mr. Beast and his crew into the secretive tomb of Osiris, which is actually submerged in water, much like Tim's DVD. As such, quote, very few humans have ever been. Now, according to Egyptian mythology, the tomb is deeply connected with the afterlife and is supposedly a gateway to the underworld. However, their time in the chamber was cut short due to their oxygen levels becoming too low. Mr. Beast then decided to come out of the pyramids of Egypt in order to explore the Great Sphinx of Giza, and even buried his own letter and collectible worth $10,000 into ancient rock. The collectible was one from his own toy range, a golden swarm worth a whopping $10,000.
Here, let me ask you this. I've always pictured, like the thumbnail there, that there is a lot of gold and stuff in these pyramids. Is that true, or is that just my imagination?
I don't think we know. They're shrouded in so much mystery. I don't know that we know entirely what is in there. There's tons of different theories on who actually built these and how long they've been there.
But truly, Brown, that if there is that much gold and valuables inside those things, are they guarded by the military? I mean...
You're just not allowed in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I have guns and I want to steal gold and jewels, would there not be movies made about me robbing the pyramids?
Yeah. Thousands of years ago, they thought about that, and that's why they made a bunch of fake tunnels. So you could go running and looking for the goal, but you're probably just going to get lost.
Yeah,
but it wasn't Hoare Construction that built them, right?
No, it was not. I think Craneware, the big dog, was on it.
No, you needed that.
You guys don't have any desire to go to the Great Pyramids.
Well, I found recently that there's a golf course right next to them, which is fascinating to me. What?
That's what gets you to go see the
Well,
pyramids?
yeah. I mean, I think it would be pretty cool to play a golf course with the pyramids in the background. And I looked at some of the Google images, and
that backdrop would be cool.
Some of the holes, you could see the pyramids in the background. Like, imagine if, say, cool. I'm going to carve a little cut off the pyramid right there.
Yeah,
drop it down by the pin.
I've got, I think, Rome, Athens. I'm going to throw Paris in there. I mean, pyramids would be way down my list.
Mine too.
I mean, pyramids would be down on the list, but I mean, I'd like to check them out.
I just don't know what else you do in Cairo after you've seen the pyramids. Like, if I go, I could see the pyramids in one day. What am I going to do with the rest of my trip?
Yeah, it looks like a chaotic city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard it's not very nice. I've heard Cairo is not very nice.
I know what I don't want to do is those river cruise tours because they
the Viking cruise, that looks appealing to me. You don't like that?
No. I mean, what do you do? It looks to be so boring on the boat. They don't have water slides or anything on those things.
No, that's the only kind of cruise I would want to do.
I know. I think they're appealing to people that would not get on water slides.
And then how often do we get off the boat?
Oh, you get off plenty.
You do?
Yeah, I've got a friend
city to city
that went on a Greece cruise, and it was only like 60 people on the boat. And they went to all the Greek islands, and it was like a 10-day cruise.
Okay, that's different. That's out on the sea.
Yeah, but you could go all over Europe. They're all over Europe.
Yeah, that's scantily clad women on these islands.
I don't know about that.
I mean, this Viking cruise looks like I got to be in my 60s or 70s. And
I do think it's an older demographic, but I've talked to people that have gone on the river cruises, and they swear by them.
I mean, look at that.
All right, zoom in.
Awesome.
What are they doing up on the top deck there, Tyler? Zoom in there.
They're doing the waltz.
No, they're
I met a girl.
Conversating, having a cocktail, looking at the incredible. You talk about backdrops. I mean,
yeah, look at that.
I mean, I'm basically on the freaking Black Warrior.
I've never seen a castle like that on the Black Warrior.
I don't see a Wonder Bread wrapper floating.
There's the Sabins, soon to be the Oats.
That's the kind of money you're going to have to be on one of those.
Yeah.
65-year-old man was arrested Monday after he beat a woman over a handicap spot in the church parking lot, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. I don't know if this guy, it bothers you guys, but I absolutely hate when I see somebody pull into a handicap spot, get out, although they've got the sticker, and they walk right in.
Right. It shouldn't. The person that you have the sticker for should be riding with you to be able to park there. If you have the sticker, but that person is not with you, I'm not saying people don't legitimately have that and they're driving without the person who's handicapped with them at times. That's going to happen. But in that situation, I should not be allowed to park in a handicapped slot if the handicapped person is not in tow.
And I normally don't care what people think, but if I did that, I would have to drag out whoever was limping around to show them off. Hey, look.
You're going to need to come in with me.
Yeah. But like I mean, Brown parked legally in what used to be a handicapped spot and was no longer a handicapped spot when we were down at the World of Wheels. I took a picture just because it was funny because the handicap was marked out at that point. He was legally parked. He wasn't parking in the handicap.
But I did get confused for a minute. I made sure it was marked out.
But I looked at it, and at first I was like, Brownie, you didn't just...
No, I would never do that. Now, I would say, I mean, none of them are right, but I'll tell you the one, I never park in a handicap spot, but the one I would never park in is one reserved for a disabled veteran. Like you said, or a Purple Heart, even worse. You see some of those like at stores.
What about
where they got a sign that's reserved for Purple Heart or military veterans? No chance.
What about the individual parking spot like we saw it yesterday? Would you have parked in his parking spot?
Oh, yeah. It's got his name on it. Yeah. Well, there's a local golf course where I play some where the club champion has a spot, the women's club champion has a spot, the junior club champion. I frequently think of the junior club champion may not even have a driver's license.
Right.
Like I could park in their spot.
Yeah. Well, or you teach him a lesson. You walk a little bit, kid.
Yeah. Or school's in. They're not even going to be here till school's over.
Here's how this went down. The victim, Gina Del Zingara, went to pick up her 5-year-old niece with her mother at the church, parked in a handicapped spot near the entrance. According to the arrest affidavit, while Del Zingaro was putting her niece in the car seat, a man in a black truck parked in front of their spot, blocking the woman from leaving or being able to pull out of the parking spot. Now, the man John Phillips. I'm assuming this is John Phillips right here.
Yes, this is. He was upset that somebody was in a handicap spot.
Waved his handicap sticker from inside of his truck. Del Zingaro then showed him their placard in response. Then Phillips got out of the truck, started walking towards them. Phillips began yelling
By the way,
at Del
first giveaway.
Zingaro. Yeah. When she got out of the car, saying the handicap placard did not belong to them, and that he saw her get out of the car next to them, according to the victim. I mean, bottom line is he got out and was walking around.
Both of them can get out and walk around. Both of them, it's a dual technical.
Now, Phillips told Del Zingaro,
we got to go to the monitor first,
and her mother that he would not let them leave, and he was calling security. He then pushed the car door, striking Del Zingaro. The victim said she wanted to get Phillips away from her and her family, so she shoved him. He then punched her in the face, knocking her to the ground. When she got up, Phillips overpowered her, grabbing her by the collar, shoving her to the ground. Deputies were told she screamed for help until staff and other parents arrived. This seems like a lot for a little.
Can I go back to the fact this is a church parking lot, right?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Hey, by the way,
that was the big storyline for me.
A couple of people here. One of them, my parents are doing a Viking River cruise in Europe for 2 weeks coming up. They're off the boat in Europe more than you're on the boat.
See, that's what I've always thought, because you're on a river. It's not like you're out to sea.
Yeah,
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
But she says definitely priced and geared for retirees.
Oh, there's no doubt. You can tell by the places they advertise it who it's geared for.
Yeah. Well, I get it a lot because Maggie's watching
British
PBS.
baking
like
shows.
the Air Emirates. I mean, who are they
exactly
targeting?
Yeah. It's not your everyday flyer.
Jennifer Aniston, take a shower standing up and then go hang out in the bar.
Let me ask you about weird pairing. My girl Brie Chicken Fry from Barstool, she left.
Are you upset she's swinging it from the left side now?
She swings both sides.
Okay.
She's switch hitter.
Okay.
It's tough on the pitcher, Lance.
So was the great Pete Rose. In baseball terms. She left the Super Bowl coverage, and she's in Dubai on a panel of some sort, talking about broadcasting and stuff. That seems to be.
Yeah, tell me the next time she wins a Marconi.
That seemed to be a little bit of the deep waters. I saw that on my TikTok.
How much longer is this 15 minutes of fame?
I was like, okay, you fit in at Bourbon Street and everything else.
Yeah.
You're on a panel in Dubai, and they flew you to Dubai?
Now, maybe that's just kind of a front to be able to hang out and appreciate all of the architecture in Dubai.
I would go.
Heck yeah. If somebody's paying my ticket.
No, I would go too, but that would be down the list too, especially for the travel time. A man who believes his $700 million lost Bitcoin fortune is buried in a landfill site is considering buying the entire dump after battling with officials for over a decade to be allowed to search for the valuable cryptocurrency. We've actually had this story. It's been a while now.
This is the second or third update on it.
Yeah, this is a follow-up.
Yeah.
So for those of us, not me, but those people that don't understand crypto, I didn't think it was like physical. Can you lose it? How do you lose it?
It's on a hard drive.
Yeah. So computer engineer here, James Howells from Wales, says that in the summer of 2013, his ex-partner mistakenly took a hard drive containing his Bitcoin wallet to a Newport garbage dump. He claims the cryptocurrency it contained is now worth an estimated $766 million.
Okay.
Now,
I'd buy the dump.
James has been fighting to be granted access to search for the hard drive ever since, but the local council has continuously denied him, arguing that it became their property the moment it entered the landfill site. Now the local authorities announced they'll be closing the dump in the 2025-2026 financial year after securing planning permission from a solar farm on part of the land. James said the closure plan came as, quote, quite a surprise to him. BBC reports the IT worker lost a high court case last month in which he had asked a judge to force the council to either allow him to search the dump or award him $612 million in compensation. Sounds like a good deal on his side.
Let's see. You can either let me search it or give me, $612 million.
I'll settle for $300 million because I may or may not have that file that I'm claiming to have.
I mean, how many people have looked for this by now?
They've got to be all over the place.
Yeah, I'd be out there.
The way the city has operated tells me the city might already have it in their possession, Lance.
Possibly.
That's
Or
right.
is looking for it.
Or
That's always
actively.
the impression I got from it.
Actively looking.
It's like, no, you can't look for it. You can't buy this.
That's right.
But don't come here.
A lot of trash on the roads over there because the prisoners are in the dump right there looking for that file. So you're telling me, like, Brown, if you owned any crypto, you have it on a file.
Yeah, I've got it on a hard drive wallet, not a physical wallet, but a hard drive wallet, rather than storing it on the online exchanges because, and this has happened, they can go out of business at any moment and you could be screwed. Or they could get hacked or whatever.
Do you keep that in a safe deposit box?
I've got it in a safe at my house, yeah.
Okay, very good.
$612 million. Like, wouldn't you say, hey,
it is not worth that?
No, give me
I know.
give me $50 million if you're this guy. Like, he's
Yeah.
gonna be okay on it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
not that they're gonna pay $1 million. But
as the solar farm gets closer, I bet his price continues to drop.
Yeah. Finally, Lee County Sheriff's Office investigating a bizarre incident that unfolded in San Carlos Park, where a man riding a lawnmower destroyed multiple mailboxes on Friday afternoon. Now, neighbors, including Matt Clardy, whose mailbox was among the victims, are still in disbelief after witnessing the unusual scene. Quote, "It was egregious, absolutely disgusting, but it's so funny I can watch it 100 times," Clardy said, though he added that he hoped the culprit would be caught. Austin Burr, a neighbor in the area, expressed frustration. "F you," quote, "I hope you did at least pay for these mailboxes to be fixed. Definitely don't hit my mailbox and don't hit my truck," end quote. Now, one other neighbor, Justin Crawford, went a little further, calling for the driver to be held accountable. Quote, "He should be arrested and thrown in jail for driving while intoxicated on a lawnmower."
I love the slow roll over the steering wheel.
He can't not get his balance.
Watch it again here. Watch this one more time. Ready? Bump.
He doesn't save it.
The neighbors reported a lawnmower rider left behind a Pittsburgh Steelers hat and a pair of sunglasses. Deputies are currently working to identify the individual responsible for the bizarre vandalism spree.
Yeah.
Don says that is as drunk as you can be and still be ambulatory.
That is exactly
I think
right.
I'd have to agree.
That change in the level of the earth there gets the drunk person every time. Whoa. The old earth. All right. Breaking news for college football after you tell us about Mortgage Right and MyBookie.
Always buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help before you take the next steps on a home purchase or refinance. Talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200.
Ole Miss 5.5-point favorites tonight as they play at South Carolina. Arkansas, a 9.5-point home favorite as they face LSU. And Missouri and Como, a 9.5-point favorite as they face the Oklahoma Sooners. You can play all those games and any of the other action tonight at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on to the sportsbook area. That sign-on and your first deposit gives you a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. That is code next round. If you want to play the casino side, code TNR Casino gives you a 300% bonus up to $2,000. So you can play either one of those at mybookie.ag. Code next round on the sportsbook side for that 50% initial deposit bonus up to $1,000. Code TNR Casino on the casino side for that bonus of 300% up to $2,000 on your first deposit. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag.
Pete Thamel reporting that Ohio State has finalized a deal to hire a new defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, former NFL head coach and longtime Patriots defensive coordinator.
Odd hire to me.
Matt Patricia.
It really is.
Yeah.
Is he the guy that had the
Pencil in the hat. Yeah, Detroit Lions failed head coach before Dan Campbell turned the franchise around.
Yeah, would that be his petty? Hey, look, we want to hire you, but can't use a pencil.
Yeah, bet he won't be recruiting off campus either. Part of me now wants North Carolina and Ohio State to play each other. Patricia versus Belichick.
I'm looking to see. He's got his last college experience with Syracuse in 01 through 03. He was the offensive GA, and after that went to the Patriots. And
damn, so is he that home and home for Auburn and Syracuse?
Well, he was a GA, but maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was around early 2000s.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember the return trip was after 9/11, I believe, wasn't it?
It was,
yeah.
yep.
Up to Syracuse. The Dwight Freeney game, as Auburn fans will remember.
All right, that's the show today. Appreciate you guys being with us. Don't forget a new Bama and Bourbon out later this week. Great content from postgame last night. Auburn reaction, Alabama reaction on our video platform. Taylor's working on possibly a live show Friday, and then we'll be there Saturday for the big showdown. More on the big showdown coming up tomorrow and Friday as well. Don't forget trivia tonight at Odie's. Always a good time there. A lot happening. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.